fashion.
Started off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Surfing on the web and I'm shooting at 3. I've been golden when I got my G. I'm an alien boy from a different planet, yeah. So I got my drink, I'm riding in the 1920s Model T Ford. Call her Era Lord. Call me Levi, playing on the keys, boy. And I'm about to put my gloves on. If I said it, then I meant that. Yeah, I like that one, I'm about to get that. Crash that whip for the drumsticks, whiplash. I'm about to get them all. Are you with that? In a white boat, surrounded by blue. I want one, but I got a cop too. I wanna fly high in the sky, arms out wide, trying to soar from a bird's eye view. I'm on fire, Ricky, Bobby, cracking the pavement, Whitney, Bobby. I'm a Saki bomb, Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Bruce Wayne been a dog, and I keep it 101, cause I'm feeling kinda spotty. You sipping on some rock and I'm sipping on octane. The only thing around my neck is the blockchain.
Now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
NFT, Twitter, blockchain. Seeing with the ghosts and we ballin' like the Brown James. Crypto. We can make a trade, get the memo. Reviews not falling for the FOMO. Listening to Coffee with Captain. You know we worldwide, they loco. I ain't never gonna stop rapping. Orlando, yeah, we working magic. We rocking Ethereum NFTs. I just went and caught me a half base. Man, I got a shout out
Started
to
off with a bit, now I got coin. I see where y'all going. Been poppin' since Web 1, hella hoes on Web 2. I was living a dream, now I'm on Web 3. And it is what it seems, topping the pyramid schemes, I'm telling you. I'll sell you a percentage on Nebula. Shout out to Vince, yo, set it up.
Freaking the mood to choose one, but they got knowledge to move, son. I'm shocking in shades with my brother in shoes. Yeah, them blues is coming. Even though it's hard to pick, eeny, miny, mo, soda on the mix, no biting lips, it's time to go. Index number 1, no thumbs up, you gotta scroll. Looking at the ghost in studio, it's time to go. Had a helmet on by myself until I met a mask that wanted to have a face off. Had to bring my chainsaw, full tank of gas in the drive with my brakes off. I'm A1, but a different kind of steak sauce.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin, where we dive into all things crypto, NFTs, Web3, and cutting-edge technology. Remember, nothing here is financial advice. Early-stage tech can be exceptionally volatile and risky. So grab your coffee and join Cap and Steve for today's conversation.
Welcome to the future.
Welcome to Coffee with Captain GM. Thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't done so, do us a favor, drop us a GM in the chat down below. Then head up top, smash the like, repost, and bookmark on today's space. We would greatly appreciate it. Warms up the algo and does us a real solid. We're also live over in the Abstract Streets, the Twitter X video, as well as the YouTube Streets. The best GMers drop them in all those spots. Greatly appreciated. Shout out to Dunk Cookie in another big drop this weekend. Giving some love in the chat. As always, I'm Captain, my co-host Steve today. He's back in the saddle. As never any financial advice this year. Crypto is risky, NFTs are risky, meme coins exceptionally risky, and go to zero to moment's notice. Please don't put any money you can't afford to lose, and know that Steve and I will hold tokens. We'll talk about from time to time. We're not financial advisors, certainly not your financial advisor. Don't join us for that. Just join us for some fun, some information, education along the way. GM Steve, good to have you back, sir.
GM, good to be back. Nice week, definitely, but good to be back. GM to everybody out there. We got tons of people already. Machiavelli, I don't know how the YouTube chat works. It's sometimes before we go live, people hit the GM, but it freaks me out a little bit. Not in a bad way. Like, good for you if you're GMing early and you're getting in there early and often. Don't Cookie GM, appreciate your support.
The hack for the if you really want to be the best GMers, you can go to YouTube before the show even starts, drop the GM there. I think you can actually do the same thing in Abstract. So you can knock out two GMs. You can beat Mel. You can knock out 2 GMs before you even go live.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a hack. I just didn't know you could do it on YouTube. I don't even know where it is on YouTube, but GM to the people in the Abstract chat, as always, Teacher Katie, Machiavelli, Mato. In fact, we'll Teacher Katie, I will shout out the V-Friends manga sticker packs today because I think doesn't get the attention of the timeline. They gave a cook on the cards, which I should have sold and I didn't sell last time. And so I'm probably gonna max mint my sticker packs. We'll hit on that today. Mel, we are late for sure. GM in there. OC Booching, Machiavelli hitting all the chats. Drew, Aspiring Nobody, Opportunist, Clay, always, Brick It All, Mesh, all of our good friends out there. Just a favor, like, retweet, and comment on the room. As we always say, look, we don't charge anything to be here. We don't have any sort of fancy subscription fees. We do, however, get a great deal of excitement out of those who like and retweet the room, and it does us a huge favor. Helps us spread the good word, Cap. But no, man, good to be back. Fun week last week. Definitely enjoyed it. Never done anything like that before. I don't know if you've ever taken like family vacations with other families, but it was great. It was great. Just 4 couples that all get along really well. We all had our little ensuite bathrooms in this house. 10 kids. You know, all the parents parented all the kids at various times. So it's like one parent might say, I'm going to the beach. Maybe 4 kids go and another parent back and forth. Kids go to the pool. Go into town. Maybe we'll take a random kids here and there. So it was fun, man. It was a good time. It was a good time with the family. Good time to relax and unplug. And probably the closest thing I've had to what a real vacation's supposed to be certainly since Web3. Because when I was on my cruise, I was finishing a book on my cruise, meeting a deadline. So it wasn't exactly like the relaxing time. It was go to your room and get some writing done. So anyway, how was last week? How was I felt like it was a slowish week, so it didn't feel like I missed a ton.
I mean, you missed the influential KOLs, the large loud accounts on Twitter attempting to attack everyone on the timeline. First, it started with smaller content creators, or basically any content creator that isn't them, if I'm going to be really accurate. And then there was apparently, I mean, it wasn't new information, but whatever reason, it got blown up over the weekend. About GCR, who is, if you're new here, he's largely viewed as like a god tier trader. He called the shorting Luna at like $77 right before it imploded. He is, infamous or famous for calling Pingu back when Pudgy was just in its infancy, and has, just printed in the trading streets. Come to find out, he allegedly is not a god tier trader. Rather, he is an elite hacker that accessed some Amazon web services, some backends, and also had people on Binance on payroll, so that he was getting all basically the coin of the month before it dropped. And long story short, I don't know. I shouldn't make assumptions, but
I think it's a he. I think we know it's a he.
Yeah, that was like yesterday, but then even that got so here's how I viewed it, Steve. There is some merit. Like, I get there's slop on the timeline. There is. I agree. I concede that fact. There is a lot of AI slop on the timeline. There's even more AI slop in the comments. Are people brand new here? Is this their first, are these large accounts, were they just not paying attention for the last 3 or 4 years? Because from my perception, there's always been slop on crypto Twitter. Like, before InfoFi, some of the loudest, largest accounts, they growth hacked their way to the top by very loud, very noisy engagement farming. I'm old enough to remember Who's Active Right Now was a thing forever. Giving away, 7-cent NFTs to get followers. Like, people hacked their way to large followings. People botted their followings. Like, crypto Twitter, my journey on crypto Twitter has always been one where you have to sort through a lot of junk, a lot of noise, a lot of engagement farming, a lot of self-serving shit to get to real high quality actual signal. It's always been that way. Like, from the day one that I joined this space, there's been a lot of loud people who get a lot of attention. They're not really like alpha callers. They're not really like great takes. They're just really good at the internet. And that's fine. I'm not hating. Like, get paid. I am not hating the players. I don't love the game. But it's for whatever reason, a lot of these large accounts over the weekend started like taking shots at, I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. Like, it felt like a lot of the takes were everyone except me sucks at creating content on Twitter. Oh, and some were like, except for my 3 or 4 friends that I also might host a show with, or I do some content with. It'd be like me saying on a tweet, it's like, man, I can't take crypto Twitter anymore. It's all garbage. It's all noise. The only good shows anymore is Coffee with Captain with Steve and myself. It's like even if you believe that, you don't say that shit out loud. It's just like the level of narcissism it takes to say everyone else sucks on this app except for me that's bold, man. Anyways, the other thing that I the irony is not lost on me. A lot of these same people, they got their following off the back of InfoFi and other tactics that are very similar, maybe different, but it's like 3 months ago, some of these accounts were talking every day about Laudio to get paid, but now it's bad if someone puts out a 7-thread topic on Open Ledger because they're ranking on a leaderboard. It's like, who the hell do you think you are? I believe, I don't know this for a fact. My assumption, I think there's 2 things happening here, Steve. I think one is, I've said this before, I think there's some individuals, some of these accounts, some of them might be agencies. They got dumb, fat, and happy. Like, this is not an exaggeration. There's a lot of accounts on this app that were getting oftentimes 5 figures. In some cases, I know of a few examples of 6 and 7 figures. Now, those are multiple tweets or campaigns. But the only level of accountability was impressions. You and I know, if you want to buy impressions, you can buy impressions. You can bot your account. Even some of like the legitimate impressions, they're not converting. It's just, oh, we're loud. We're going to get a lot of attention. And people thought, I need attention. If I'm in crypto, I need to pay these KOLs 10 grand, 50 grand to send a few tweets, because that's the only way we can break through the noise that is crypto Twitter. We have to get these KOLs on our side. And so we're going to open up our checkbook. I'm old enough to remember like Polkadot getting ripped for spending, I don't know how many millions of dollars on KOLs, and they were all just farmers. They were all just botted accounts, and no one really thought they were serious. No one paid attention to them. There might have been a few exceptions in there, but for the most part, they got ripped for their KOL marketing campaign because they were just burning money. And so a lot of these accounts, I do believe, like they're mad about InfoFi. Even some of them that have been participatory, they're participating because they have to. They don't like it because now it's much more fair and equitable to create content on Twitter and get paid for it. Versus, oh, you have the largest account, you can get the most eyeballs, you can send a video out and get a million impressions. We want to pay you 100 grand. We realize that's not going to convert anyone to our actual protocol, but we got to get the attention, and we'll do our best to try to convert them. And so what's happened is those large accounts are getting these huge brand deals that you don't get anywhere else for the followings that we have here. Even the largest accounts on crypto Twitter are nothing in like the traditional streamer world. Like Thread Guy is like, oh, he's huge account, got some of the larger deals, I believe. He's a nobody in the world of the Aiden Ross and the Kai Sinets and this iShowSpeed. Like there's a bunch of people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month creating content. Not a bunch, there's a few. And there's a bunch of people that are grinding their face off and they're not getting paid at all. Or they're getting like a $500 brand deal. So crypto Twitter was a place where if you build a following, whether legit or botted or cheesy engagement farming, you could get these very large brand deals. I believe, I'm not saying they're gone. I believe they're evaporating. I believe a lot of that money, a lot of those marketing budgets have shifted from, okay, we've got $500,000 this year, we're going to pay KOLs, to we might pay 5-10 grand to KOLs this year, but we're shifting that $500,000 marketing budget to things like Kaido and InfoFi. And so now they have to play the game they don't like to play, because now they're competing with thousands of other individuals and instead of just getting there, and they actually have to drive results instead of just getting paid to tweet and drive impressions. That's just one. I think that's one subsector of the people I've identified that are really mad about InfoFi. Is, I don't know, I'm guessing. I haven't seen their books, but knowing what I know about the space, we have some insight based on the conversations we have and in how silly lucrative it was to create content in this space a year ago for people like us, to where now it's grind. You got to fucking work for it, and you got to deliver results. You got to actually build campaigns. You can't just send out a video and drive a bunch of impressions. That shit's gone. Maybe it's not gone. I shouldn't say it's gone. It is not what it once was. So the people that would build agencies or building their huge personal brands and their brand accounts, getting these big deals, they're big time mad at InfoFi because it's eating their lunch. Like, it's literally, think about that. You had the people that got one protocol. We'll just use Polkadot because we know they did a big. It was way more than $500,000. But let's just say Polkadot has $500,000. Before, that was divvied up amongst 10 to 20 KOLs. Now, you got to go get it. it's on a leaderboard. Yeah, you could still drive your impressions and index at the top of the leaderboard, but you're only going to get maybe $5,000 instead of where those same people would have got 50 grand or 100 grand a year ago. So they're big time mad. I get it. I understand why they're mad. The other people are ones who I think they've printed on InfoFi. I think they've done very, very, very well. And I think it's a defense mechanism. I think they see that the InfoFi is getting more competitive. We're seeing more protocols launched. We're seeing way more campaigns. And I think some of them are fudding essentially what they're doing as an attempt to discourage others from doing it. Because everyone's like, oh, how shitty the timeline's been. Dude, I think the exact opposite. Is there noise? Yes. Is the AI slop somewhat annoying in the comments? I guess. But it's so easy to identify. You know what? I don't even find it annoying, Steve, because they retweet me. Like the AI bots, they help me. I've never once paid for a bot, but I'm not like going to block them because they're actually supporting me. Like, I don't know who they are. I don't know who's behind the bots, but they comment my GM posts. They retweet my posts. Like, cool. I'm not doing anything. I'm not paying for it. It like, I can annoy an M dash in my comments, or I can ignore an M dash in my comments if I know it. Like, it's just like, it's not the worst slop. Like, I think I prefer it to the who's active right now and those people becoming the loudest voices in the space. I just, maybe I'm off. I think it's a defense mechanism. They're attempting to protect their status in InfoFi. It's much harder. There's no moat like they had previously. And when everyone says, oh, it's all junk, I adamantly disagree. I found multiple accounts in the last 6 months because of InfoFi. Look at our guy, Mackie. He's been grinding his face off since we've known him. He's now getting paid. Like, he's going to crush on Mega ETH because he's focused. He's doing it the right way. And it's people like that. Like, if that's you, I see Diego in the chat. I see Thomas in the chat. Don't let these negative Nancys who are fudding InfoFi to discourage you. Don't let them discourage you because they're saying the timeline is slop, or, oh, this is ruining crypto Twitter. It is not. It's you're cutting into their market share like Bonk.fun is cutting into Pump.fun's market share. They're worried. And so their defense mechanism is to fud the shit out of this and attack other people. So hopefully maybe the timeline shifts back to just paying the KOLs 50 grand a pop.
Yeah, no, it's funny. I saw this as well. So I love that we have like a audience and a community that has created their own smart timeline.
It may have a use case, but if you write like this, you will be 99% of people are going to assume that you're using AI. It just is what it is. If I apologize, if you're an M- user, ChatGPT and LLMs, they've ruined the M- for you. You are going to appear as a bot if you use an M-. I almost, at least by the majority of the people on this app, immediately they're going to not even read the post because like, oh, it's just AI slop.
It's bad enough that like if I just use words that are multisyllabic words that I will get accused of being like an AI. Like it happens to me.
Dude, hold on. What does that even mean?
Oh, like multiple syllables. Yeah. I like
the difference between Steve and myself. I would say if I use multi-syllable words, Steve says multi-syllabic.
Multisyllabic, yeah, or monosyllabic. But like point is like if I use like anything that isn't like
out there. We need multi-Slavic in a rap song.
Yeah. The thing about it is like if I use any word that's the least bit like when I was explaining what makes the blockchain like, you know, why businesses would use the blockchain, which is like obvious to me. And by the way, we're seeing that start to play out like stocks, things like that. You know, stable coins, when I'm talking about it, I'll use like, you know, real words that aren't just like to the moon, and people are like, oh, you used AI for this response. Like, nope. But I love our community being pretty intelligent. Diablito Mesh basically saying they didn't see this. I saw it too. I actually commented on it. I was driving back, you know, freaking 14 hours or whatever it was in the car, and I when I swapped, I drove I think 9 of the hours back of the 13 yesterday or whatever it was. Von Front, CT is the same as any social media platform. It's the person who poses as a world traveler on Instagram. Now it's the person who has wild takes in CT, travel the internet streets accordingly. It's true. I mean, it is true. That's what it is. It's like, there are people who, you know, they're like you kind of nailed it where it's like they're creating content about content creators creating bad content because here's what I'll say. I'll agree with most of what you said. First of all,
peak CT. That was my tweet over the weekend. I had like 7 people saw it because I'm not a high influential KOL. But yeah, it was like I had to laugh, man. Like the irony is definitely not lost on me. Like it was the most peak CT. Like if I could rock videos and yield a machete like Gabriel Haynes, I would have busted out a video this weekend because it was like, it's just like you have to almost laugh at it, right? Like here it is. Peak CT is content creators getting paid. They did. All of them that sent out shit, they got paid at least Elon bucks over the weekend. If not, they probably added a tag to get on a Kaido leaderboard. So they all got paid because they're all getting Elon bucks, and their tweets did huge numbers when they started dunking on CT. So peak CT is content creators getting paid to create content about how the CT content creators suck, except for themselves, obviously, because creating content about shitty content solves the problem.
Yeah, it's. I had the same reaction. A couple things. One, yeah, it's like people, and by the way, I think Lucifer, who like I quote tweeted over the weekend, and again, I similarly didn't do that much because I'm a little baby account who doesn't bot or anything, and I don't just take takes for the sake of having takes. This is the same person who said businesses shouldn't make money when he was mad that like, because I was like, what was this guy's really bad take on the way home? And I found it. It was the take where he said, Nifty charging $5 for an app they're creating to try to create value, to try to help people cut through the clutter. By the way, the problem you're now complaining about on CT was not worth it, and got absolutely just dunked and murdered. Like issued an apology for the engagement farm. But it's like, look, I mean, there were spaces in 2021 where people just went out and made dolphin noises for 20 minutes. There are spaces where people are shilling pump and dumps, which we'll get into a little bit, which, by the way, some of the people that these people are saying we're the great content creators, or the closest thing we have to great content creators, are people who are shilling the meme coins. But yeah, it's these takes. It's like all the content here sucks now, except my friends and me. That's it. Everybody else sucks. It's like, and I don't even know that it's an engagement farm. I think some of them legitimately believe that they are just God's gift to content.
Maybe. I don't think it's engagement farm. Maybe it's subconscious. I do believe that they feel the heat. I think that a lot of these creators who have had the gravy train is over, Steve. Like it's a great time to be a content creator on X, but it's fair and equitable for the first time ever. Just because you have a large account, they're not guaranteed to get the deals anymore. And they're big time mad about it. And I don't blame them. Like, I get it. Like some of these, I think people would follow their fucking chair if they knew how much money some of these content creators got for sending a tweet or two back in the day. It's gone now. It doesn't exist. But if you understand some of the deals these people are getting, you can understand why they're big time mad about having to now compete with 1,000 other individuals to get a fraction of the paycheck. Yeah,
I mean, look, I'm an idiot because I turned all this stuff down because I didn't want to tweet about things I didn't want to, which is dumb because I could have made money apparently back then, but I can't do it. Just can't bring myself to do it. I remember once for like some random like PFP project, which ended up being exactly as I expected. It was just a sold out and then rugged or didn't do anything that they said they were going to do. I want to say somebody offered me a couple of years ago, 2022, 1 ETH to send one tweet and do one giveaway contest. And I believe their stipulation is they wanted it to be undisclosed that I was getting paid. And I said, number one, like, I don't want to do this thing. And number two, I'm not going to go undisclosed on it. But yeah, I think it was like, and I was a small account. So me getting offered, in ETH for that was crazy.
I mean, this is why we turned down a lot of money. It's why we didn't, like, have we talked about things that didn't work out? Absolutely. But it's not because we got paid to do so. I'm trying to think. I'm sure there's been a deal that we took that ended up not working out, but it wasn't with malicious intentions. And I appreciate you sharing that because we've been playing the long game from the jump, and it's cost us, I'm going to say, Steve, it's cost us maybe $250,000, probably upwards of $500,000 in the last few years. And I'm grateful for that. And we also I thank you for sharing that because we are playing the long game. We're not going to show random shit. We're also going to talk about things that we want to talk about, and we might be wrong. We're going to be wrong often, actually.
Yeah. I think the parts that you said, I think there's a couple things. I would add one more thing to the category. So I agree with you. I think the quiet part out loud that a lot of people aren't saying, by the way, you've been on this. ICO Beast has been on this. ICO Beast it's funny. I was looking back at some stuff because I remembered he had something back in December 2024. So like 8-9 months ago, ICO Beast said the biggest risk was the gravy train ending for some of these content creators. So he said this in December related to InfoFi. That dude, by the way, I think ICO Beast is on a heater right now. Like he's been tweeting some stuff where he's been seeing around corners and he's been right a lot lately. But December 2024 said like the biggest thing. So I think you're correct that I think some of these people, we texted about it.
The timeline's almost like I'm trying to go back in my brain and some deals that I have inside knowledge of. And I think they were you probably know better than I have to look, but I think they were probably pre-December. I think the timeline is almost to a T. Like Kaido was launched by then, but I'm not sure what I feel like it was first of the year, after first year when it really started taking off. And like the shift of KOLs and their gravy train ending, it probably did line up to about like the last major deals. There might have been some trickle in, but as far as the space shifting, probably if you didn't get your big check in Q4, that was us. Like, I'm not going to go into details, but we were in conversations and the numbers, the couple zeros disappeared as soon as the calendar year flipped over. No exaggeration. Like, we're grateful for all of our sponsorship deals, but we were told one thing in December. By February, March, like literally in one deal, 2 zeros got knocked off of it.
Yeah. It's it's the grind. But yeah, I think like that time frame, the Art Basel AVAX was paying everybody at the time. We never were in on that. There was the AVAX stuff. There was some other deals I won't talk about that I know some other people got. Yeah, we did not hit that gravy train, which is fine. But like, yeah, like that part of it, I think is definitely part of it. I think that we texted about it probably in like late winter, early spring. We texted because we saw a couple people posting about it. We're like, the truth here is these people are mad because their deals are getting taken away by Kaido. That was one part. So we saw that. I agree with the competition part. The part I will add about it, and this is not about some of the top creators who I really enjoy, because the top creators just keep creating. So for example, like Clemente doesn't stop making videos. ICO Beast doesn't stop firing off takes. Like the creators who are like thoughtfully putting stuff out there aren't not creating and doing their thing. Like Pio is going to drop rap videos and put out Bitcoin content. Like the creators that are like still going are still going.
The one thing, like, I agree with you on ICO Beast. He got caught up because he retweeted Leon, who started. Well, Leon didn't even start it, but Leon put the 500-word essay out that Gabriel quote tweeted and kind of dunked on with his video. ICO Beast retweeted it and basically agreed to it. There's nuance. It's a very nuanced conversation. Part of the things that to your point, he was right. He saw this happening. He's also someone who has been printing off info by season. And maybe not. Maybe he doesn't care and he wants to see these others. I think there's probably at least some subconscious there that he feels like he's sitting on a gold mine and it's getting threatened. Like it's natural to like, how do I defend my position? Oh, I'm going to agree with the people who say that all this slop is shitty because that's going to potentially reduce the volume I have to compete against. And I don't think he's like actually thinking like that, but I'd push back on his quote tweet, his take, because it's just like, dude, there's a lot of great creators that aren't just the largest accounts on this app. And I think InfoFi has actually brought them to the top. Like InfoFi has brought light to them. Without Kaido, I don't know if that they ever get discovered.
Yeah, I think there's nuance to like, I think both things are true. I think there is look, I mean, again, the problem is like the nuance that exists. Like what ICO is saying is no different than what I said 4 or 5 months ago. A bunch of people are going to tweet about protocols and things they don't understand until they get an airdrop. They'll never talk about it again. I got like kind of lit up for the take of that.
Some will, but not all. Like I'm going to keep going back to Mackie. Mackie's going to keep talking about Mega ETH. He's going to use the platform. Like Mackie is a great example of InfoFi done right, on both ends. On Mega ETH side, how they're building their community, and on Mackie's side, how you get paid continuously. Isn't just by tweeting some AI slop about the protocol. actually dive in deep, learn about it, share some insight. Like, it's not everyone. And that's what I took so much offense with, or which rubbed me the wrong way from all the people who are flooding it, including ICO Beast, is it's not absolute. It is not everyone. And I'm putting myself in the mind of the Mackies of the world. I'm like, man, should I be doing this? Yes, keep doing what you're doing. Don't let these people discourage you, because they're not talking about you, but they're also not giving you credit. And I think that's people that have loud voices, large followings. They should be lifting these people up. If you're going to dunk on the people who are doing all the shitty slop, that's fine. Sandwich it. Highlight some of the people who aren't doing all the shitty slop, because there's a lot of them out there. And the timeline would lead you to believe that no one is doing that. And that just could not be further from the truth.
Ooh, I might have just... No, I'm good. I know StreamYard said it was having some issues. We still got you? Am I still here?
Yes. The new dots down in our small.
It's just talking dots. It's not like it's
new,
not
though, right?
Yeah, that's new. It's StreamYard for people to...
there was a StreamYard update over the weekend. There was a warning that there's some instability issues. I think we turned off all the features, or don't use the features that were causing the issues. So we should be good. But
for a second there, I froze. So that's why I was going to say, you might have missed ICO Beast follow-up tweet, which is why I brought up him specifically, because I agree with you, and I think that's what it is. I think there's nuance to it. So he quote tweeted his own thing and said a few, and this is what I was actually going to say, which I agreed with, because a few things can be true at the same time. My take 6 months ago wasn't wrong that there's a bunch of people putting out trash. And he said in his thing, he said a few things can be true at the same time. Smaller accounts can make quality content about an emerging ecosystem. He gives 3 smaller account examples. He said, I think they should be studied. I also think strong emerging ecosystems like Mega are a great place to focus if you want to grow rather than just cash in on short-term incentives. So like, he said that's what blasted in early 2024, which is true. He said any size account can really harm both. The second thing, he said any size account can harm their long-term credibility by constantly low-effort farming tons of pre-GG projects without saying anything of substance. I agree with that. A person can make observations about the overall quality level of CT without being complaining or ego, other than it's sort of that sort. It's called analysis. Personally, my timeline is great because I aggressively utilize the mute button.
I did miss the response quote tweet. So much shit on the timeline over this weekend, Steve. A lot of sucky content. It drowned out the actual.
Yeah, most of know the bad content about content. The other thing I'll say about this topic, though, that I think is worth...
to your point, he gave credit. So, I apologize. Otherwise, I think if you listen in later, I'm not taking shots at you. This is exactly what I wanted to see. Exactly what I was looking for people like ICO Beast.
Yeah.
It's fine to be critical. I'm critical too, but don't only be critical when there is a lot of good things happening at this that... people like this could be eating into ICO's pie. So I'm very glad to see he clarified his take. And yeah, this is worth a breather. This is I agree with, I think probably everything here at a first scan.
And that's I guess the point is one of the reasons I personally like him as a creator and as a person is because he actually is intelligent and has nuanced thoughts. Do I agree with everything he says or everything? And I'm not just trying to glaze ICO here. Do I agree with everything? No, I'm not going to agree with everything that anybody says. What I like about the point he's making here, though, which I think is a fair point, is he has nuance to the point versus the other point I was going to make is the third category of these content creators that I would say is coming out here is that I think a lot of them don't have nuanced thoughts on the market. And that's one of the words where I would differentiate, where I'd say someone like him doesn't have his his...
Hold on. You think someone who thinks businesses should not generate revenue might not have a nuanced thought on the market either?
Yeah. It's crazy, right? To think that somebody who thinks businesses shouldn't make money doesn't have the right nuanced thoughts on the market. And so I think part of the problem here is that in 2021 and 2022, and look, we all did it, us included at various times because we get caught up in whatever, and we've been wrong before. You could say to the moon. You could say Bored Apes are underpriced here. You could call out ranges for the Gutter Cat gang. You could.
I said free over the weekend on a big other need sale, and people were giving me shit. Or dude, it was hyperbole. I was just tapping into nostalgia. You had to be here.
It's a throwback.
I don't believe it was free. Someone got way overpaid for it, but I get the thesis. And yeah, I commented free on Whale's thread, and people are like, "What? This is a horrible take." I'm like, "It's not a take. It was a joke."
Yeah, but I think you could do things where you say like people like did analysis, which was actually, I guess, some work on like trait floors and things. Like Zeneca created an entire following off of just sending out floors before he started writing his newsletter. Like people don't realize that's how Zeneca started kind of his thing. I guess like my point is it is harder to have a real intelligent thought about the crypto regulation that has good and bad things in it, about TradFi businesses, about applications of the blockchain to the real world, than it is to say to the moon about or to say Bored Apes are underpriced here or whatever it is. And I think for some of the people, like maybe they did that, maybe they didn't, but I think some of them just don't have. It's okay. I'm not insulting them. I'm saying some of them don't care enough to have nuanced, deep thoughts about things that are going on in the market. So to them, it's easy to say like, well, crap, I got to tweet something because if I don't, it'll disappear from the timeline. Content sucks. I saw some AI stuff from Kaido. I think some people also just like let the thing go from like their brain to their Twitter fingers without thinking through like, is this actually a correct thought or am I just, exaggerating here? So I don't know.
This is great advice from FFE. I'm going to read it to those listening in and not on the video. And he says, unless you're doing something egregious, make money however you want in crypto. Your precious personal brand will be fine. Don't let a KOL fool you. People will never remember you that you farmed Kaido, you did your AI hacks, you do Laudio or Howdio or whatever the F. There's also another one, Yammer or something. By the way, we've come so far that we're now dropping Laudio type things and naming them after. Yeah, I think it was Yahoo did Yammer. One of these companies, one of the
Microsoft, I think, had Yammer as like an internal communications tool.
It was like their version of Slack or something that crashed and burned. I think
I believe wasn't Yammer internal Facebook. I think it was Facebook, but for internal comms. That I want to say it was Microsoft product that they did. Maybe not.
Scatter. Yeah, there. Anyways, Yammer was a bad product. I think it was one of the all-in guys was PM on that or something. Anyways, he said, do whatever you want. Insert random meta. No one will remember you in 6 months. You don't even remember what you were doing 6 months ago. Stop listening to KOLs who think they're above this stuff. They're not. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on CT, dork. And this is the point. And this is what I kept asking people who with these takes. My comments to all of them, I'm like, because a lot of them said multiple accounts have destroyed their personal brand over talking about Kaido stuff. I'm like, who? Give me one. And guess how many responses I got? Because I asked them all. I know they saw my ass because they liked my question. Guess how many responses I got? How many names I got? Zero. Because that hasn't happened. There's not a single person that has destroyed their personal rep or their brand account because they've talked about a Kaido campaign. It's bullshit. And they're saying that to prevent other people from doing it. There's no other reason because there's not a real example. And I'm going to continue to ask until someone can give me one. Because I can think a lot of accounts that have grown their following, that have put themselves on the map because of InfoFi. And I thought all weekend, I can't come up with one single account that has destroyed their reputation because they talked about even fucking Laudio or some of the really stupid shit. Like no one cares. Look at Vo. She was the top person on Laudio, and she's probably had the biggest come up of any content creator this cycle. Like it's working. They're getting paid. Don't let large accounts stop you from getting paid on CT. Period.
I can think of some large accounts that I have less respect for that I'm not going to say out loud who have done some of this stuff that I maybe I tune out a little bit more. That mix in some good takes, but they generally are doing a lot of it. But whatever, man, get paid how you get paid. I mean,
people too. I don't think it matters in the big term or the long term. I don't think it's going to prevent them from getting brand deals.
No, I don't think so. It's just a personal thing. I'll remember it personally, but I remember stuff from 2021 when people did stupid stuff, myself included, but some of the people, I have grace for people, but I'll, I talked to someone in New York a couple weeks ago who made a comment and I mentioned that you're going harder at InfoFi lately. And they're like, yeah, he's like, I've had some people who have muted me, but they're also not paying me. So I don't know what you want from me. The person is crushing it. It's working well for them. And it's a fair take. This person who is mad and muting me is not actually paying my bills. And I'm pulling in paychecks here. And by the way, we talked about the fact that content creation doesn't exactly have the biggest brand deals right now in crypto Twitter, like it did a couple years ago. People need to figure out how to get paid. And some of them are getting paid this way. And that's fine. Like, good for them. I don't really, so it is a bizarre, a bizarre conversation. I'm more just like, I get it. Like, I that's why I say both things can be true. It's perfectly fine to say, like, there is some crappy AI content. There are some people who talk about stuff like this. And there's also at the same time, like people getting paid. There's also at the same time, I actually think crypto content is as good now as it's been in a long time. Like,
Agreed.
I don't think it was better when people were making dolphin noises on spaces. I think it is better that we have nuanced sectors. I think it is better that I can tune into one space and I can get actual nuanced, intelligent takes on politics and bills and things like a modern market. I think it's good that I can go into other spaces and hear about like what they're building. I think it's great I can go into an inner igloo and hear about everything that they're building with Abstract and Pangu and Pudgy Penguins. I think it's great that I can go into a VFriend space and talk about what they like as far as collecting goes. Like, all of these are good. Like, there is streaming content that didn't exist before. There is video content that is high quality production. There is AI content, AI video, and AI, like the MoonPay AI video. Like, there's good AI, which by the way is tricky to do AI content when you only get like 9 seconds max of like video time. But like,
that was me. Not
Yeah.
allowed to say it, but I did. That was me. I did the MoonPay video.
it was good. It was good. I thought so. I actually thought so when I saw you on stage. That's what actually jarred me thinking about it when I was thinking of AI video content.
Not the cartoon one, the first one.
The first one, the one that I actually thought actually looked like in all of the, because I have this take, which is true, by the way, that people right now, most AI viral things are only going viral because they're AI and it looks realistic. That was one of the ones that I was like, hey, there's an insight here of everybody can use MoonPay, and here's how you get into crypto and different types of people. And it was actually one of the only well done ones I saw versus like some of the ones I see that are pretty bad. But yeah, like I think like for me, like there is better content now than you had access to in the past. So I don't know. Like it's a
Steve, speaking of better content though, we have a specific request in chat.
Go ahead.
Not everyone is here back in 2021. We have some people that are newer, and specifically they need to hear the dolphin noises from you.
Oh, I was not involved in the dolphin noises, nor am I capable. And after a week of like drinking and lack of sleep, I don't think I can hit that high pitched note right now. I am struggle busing my way to the gym today.
In all seriousness, there was, I think this is pretty big signal. Another thing that came out of the weekend, and I'll hand it right back to you if Jonah wants to get in here on this conversation, we can. Relative to new people, this blew my mind. I don't know if you saw, like I mentioned, I commented on the other deed. I said free. There's other deed sold over the weekend for $85,000, 35 each, 212x the floor price. Whoever guesses wins the cookie. It was right next to the clubhouse. It's on Bored Ape Yacht Club Island. You can see number 24. I think number 1 through 299 are on Bored Ape Yacht Club Island, and then there's like 11 or 12 that are right on the inner circle. This is one of those 11 or 12. But more important than the sale is the response. 40 to 50% of the replies didn't even know what he's talking about. Keep in mind, Whale is one of the largest NFT accounts on crypto Twitter. He's got a very large NFT following. So he says, for anyone who was around in 2022, other side is probably as well known as Bored Ape Yacht Club or CryptoPunks. Agreed. The most notorious mint of all time for those of us that were here. But it looks like people who entered crypto in 24 or later either don't know or don't care. Two ways to look at this. It's over. Or two, and I kind of side here, not only for other side, I think for NFTs as a whole, there's actually an opportunity here as most people are sidelined or not even aware. I think this applies not only to the other side, but to many other NFT projects that are not in the big five, aren't heavily represented on the timeline, in addition to the two we mentioned, Azuki, Pudgies, and Miladies. I agree with this. I was shocked to see almost half of this thread have no idea what other deeds are, Steve.
You're talking about the opportunity, actually. I will throw this in here as well. The Gary Vaynerchuk had a tweet over the weekend that I saw, or past couple of days. So he basically is doing this thing. He's been doing this for a while, like who's getting their first VFriends NFTs in the month of July. And this guy tweets and responds, are NFTs still alive? Basically saying, NFTs dead. Could even be an AI thought. He throws in ChatGPT to show some volume. He's like, I don't think people realize this is a marathon, not a sprint. And he put in some ChatGPT stats about NFTs. I don't think anybody thinks NFTs are going back. I mean, Lucas says there's going to be multiple 6-figure PFP collections or whatever he said back in the day. Like, it's a big call. I don't know if that happens. I do think that if done well, there still is an opportunity for people who want to build a community-based brand. It's not always going to be NFTs. Rect's an example. They do have NFTs. They also have the brand coin that they talk about, which, again, I think majority of things, I'm not a big believer in brand coin meta, but I think
we're gonna get you sold. We're gonna get you believing in the brand coin meta, just as we got you believing in InvoFi, Steve.
I might be out. I think I'm unstaking my Kaido, by the way, but that's a whole other conversation. Go ahead.
I mean, staking Kaido, I don't like. That's just a part of a very small part of InvoFi. I think that's more of like a financial play versus the meta itself. But on
NFT.
Brand coins, right? They had their Jupiter drop claim over the weekend, and once again, the coin went up.
Vesting or something? I saw something about it, and like I did not claim. I need to claim, but I did not, see.
Oh, so yeah, the claim was more than you paid for the drop. So once again, you got more in token than you paid for the drink. I know this probably can't go on forever, but maybe it can, and it is right now. People are printing. They're going to keep selling out these drops as long as this flywheel continues. And more so than the getting as much, the wildest thing isn't that they got as much Rect claim as they paid for the Jupiter drop. That makes sense. And that could be, that's just math, right? That's just they can make that happen every time if they want until they run out of tokens to give away. What was way more surprising to me is once again, the coin shot up. Like, you don't see this in free claims. Like, there's something magical happening when you give away free money and the price goes up. Usually you see a sell-off. Usually people, oh, I bought $100 worth of drinks. I'm going to sell my coin so I get my $100 back. People aren't doing that. In fact, people are buying more of the coin when they get their drop. It's like, it is, rec paper. Are they going to call it the rec paper? I unfortunately, I think they should. And I say unfortunately because I think it's going to lead to Kook getting a job on the rec team, because Kook was the one who commented, said rec paper is such a layup. Can't be, you guys are calling it a white paper. But rec paper, they need to do it.
How do you know how the claim works? Because I have a claim.
I missed the Jupiter drop. I don't know. I don't know, but
because I thought I saw something about it. Said the rec will fully vest on 25th of October after your Jupiter drops drinks will be have been delivered. So it says purchasers, they receive the airdrop. The rep distribution has been used. It locks in your Solana wallet address that was submitted at checkout.
Okay. So good on them. I mean, that would explain why they didn't get a sell-off. You can't sell it. I missed that part. I knew the claim went live. I didn't realize it was vested, or it was vesting.
Yeah. So in any case, we'll see. It says vesting schedule July 4th, 2025 to October 24th, 2025 at 8 p.m.
Smart.
So
smart.
Good little look. We'll see what happens there. I didn't follow. That's why I didn't claim it, because I was like, damn, did I miss the claim? I thought it was locked up. It is. So again, we don't have to. I'm not going to go deep into brand coins. I think Rect is an anomaly in this situation. I don't think that they are the rule. I don't think we're going to see. We agree there's not going to be large brands. I think some small brands may give it a try. I don't think it's going to be a successful venture. Like, I think this is a total, anomalous situation. But yeah, like Dort saying you can't claim yet. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, my point being about the NFT things, I think we'll continue to see NFTs used in a smart way. We're going to see businesses start using them. We're going to see, without people knowing their NFTs, we're going to see community-built brands coming through. We're going to see brands like Rect break through with other methodologies. Like, we're going to continue to see this. So, like, I don't think there is a better time to be paying attention to crypto than right now. And I know that hey, like, even like 2 years ago was better, or 5 years, whatever. Like, I understand the monetary reasons. But, like, there's good stuff out there, and there's a lot of places you can concentrate. You could create like, in 2021 and 2022, you had to be talking about NFTs, and that was it. And you had to be talking about PFPs, or else you're kind of drowned out. Like, that's where we were. You can talk about on-chain stocks. You can talk about real-world assets. You can talk about brand coins. You can talk about, big meme coins. Doesn't matter. Speaking of meme coins, and again, before we get into this, because I mentioned Gary, sticker drop today. So 11 a.m. for VFriend Series 1 holders, I believe, for 24 hours. Then I think another 24 hours for VFriend Series 2 holders tomorrow. Less expensive price for Series 1, Series 2, also less expensive price, and then the public sale after that.
I'm all the way out on stickers. To each their own. Go if you go get it. They're probably a profitable flip there. Just not my thing, and I'm not gonna. I'm all the way out. All those brands. I have zero interest.
I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna sell them. That's the Steph Curry deal they did. Is in that one. I'm gonna get them. I'm probably gonna sell them on secondary this time because I went ahead and didn't sell the cards from the Topps Chrome, which was dumb of me. Because I mean it was fun ripping packs. What's up?
Your Telegram stickers?
No, not Telegram stickers. Stickers. VFriends is dropping stickers. Yeah, this is the Steph Curry deal. So Steph Curry's in their manga stickers. This is like stickers, not Telegram stickers, which I'm also not, I wouldn't go for because I don't want to buy stars and do that whole 9 yards. These are basically like trading cards, but they sell them as stickers, and they sell like rare ones sell for a lot of money. People buy packs unripped. Like it's like the Topps Chrome drop. It's another it's just another one of those things. It's so yeah, here I'll show you. There's stickers. Stickers. So like manga stickers, these are the ones that they did the deal with Steph Curry on. It's these boxes. It's basically like cards, and it's the same deal where it's like, you know, $60 per box for Series 1 holders for 24 hours. I believe another 24 hours for Series 2 and Iconic holders, 75 per box, limit 6 box per eligible account, 12 box per eligible account. So there might be a lot of supply, so maybe not. I don't know. I'll have to decide if I want to go in on that. But like, I could have bought 3 or 4 boxes of those cards for $99 for Topps Chrome. And I believe those boxes were selling for $350, $400 on eBay. So for a little bit of work, we're lazy in NFT land. We just want to click a couple buttons and have it sold and get our OpenSea farm or whatever. But for $99, like you could have bought $400 worth of stickers or worth of cards and sold them for, you know, $1,600. Like a $1,200 flip's pretty good for like, you know, a few weeks of just sitting and buying something and shipping. So yeah, I'm out on Telegram stickers. I may get these Gary V stickers. That said, you mentioned traders. I mentioned meme coin content.
You can't wait to talk about BonkFun, huh?
I mean, it is topical. Like, I could not care less about BonkFun or meme coin launchers. I thought the GCR thing was interesting. We'll see about that one. I do have actually a more, you know, on GCR specifically, but
I think the BonkFun is interesting. I'm not in the meme coin launchpad trenches, but it's making me right on something I've been wrong on for last year, in that there's no. So
explain this to me. Explain to me, because I saw Crocs tag me something in the war room. I don't meme coin. Like, I occasionally buy something if I think that I have an opportunity to make some money. I've probably been like I probably am net profitable in meme coins, but it's because I've only invested in like 10 of them or something at any given time, and like 6 of them were pretty good, I guess. Explain the launchers, what's going on here. Like, give me the lowdown on this before we go deeper, because I did miss this over the weekend, and it looks like volume is being taken away from Pump.fun, so Pump.fun's getting their lunch eaten a little.
Yes, finally. Maybe it doesn't hold, but so the whole Bonk ecosystem has just been ripping. Bonk guy was right. It's not just Bonk coin, but several others. And then Let's Bonk, or Let's Bonk.fun. It's not new. It launched in April. It did a little bit, I think, like on launch day. I have stats here somewhere. Give me a sec. On launch day, it did. Hold on, I'll pull up a Dune report. Anyways, it launched back in April and saw a little bit of spike when it launched, and then very quickly, nearly all the volume went back to Pump.fun. Kind of similar. Boop launched. They did their attempted a vampire attack. It was poorly done, and very quickly, about all the volume went back to Pump. Launch Labs from Radium has been doing okay. Like, they not real. I mean, they have made a dent in Pump's market share, but it's not been anything significant. And then this month, it went from. I'm trying to get this chart pulled up. It's supposed to be a Dune, but it would just be very helpful if I could actually. Here it is. Sorry.
But the end game here is basically people cannibalize each other on meme coins until the end of time. Like, I mean, like, what are we like?
I mean, not really. I mean, they found product market fit. There's a demand in crypto to have a very simple no code meme coin launcher. Meme coins are never going to die. They're always going to continue to get created. Are we going to have daily runners like we've had? I don't know. Or but there's very clear demand for a meme coin launchpad. Pump.fun has been the best. One of the things Pump.fun, I think, if you like really dive in and try to analyze what happened, why did they lose market share? Well, one of their mistakes, they created their own liquidity pools and they went away from Radium. There's just also from an incentive standpoint, I do have the Pump Dune chart, but I'm looking for
my favorite part, by the way, about the stats that were shared over the weekend was, nobody really there was like Pump.fun, Radium, all these other ones, and it was like Boop 272 wallets. Like that was so funny to me. Like Boop just fell. By the way, there's also like so many things going on in the chat here while you pull that up. We got Von Frunten making bets, it looks like, potentially on 100K floor prices. Solomon wants to bet with Von Frunten, who says that 0 PFPs will ever have a 6-figure floor price. I think.
Have you heard of CryptoPunks?
Look, he said, I don't think Punks reclaim 100K floor price. I actually disagree with that one. I think Punks have the chance.
I kid you not, I would have guessed they were still at 100K.
Yeah,
I don't follow it regularly, but
I think they'll get there. I don't think a lot of other ones. Jambert, welcome back. Appreciate that. OX Med with a lot of like data, just giving some takes about potentially what's going to happen this year. We actually had the Fed say 0% chance of a recession or something, which makes me worried about recession this year finally again. But yeah, man, I guess like I understand there's product market fit for people wanting to launch coins, but like I think when you start having KOLs saying how
$109,000, what are you talking about? They're 42.99 ETH. That's 109,000 USD. They're already 100K.
Wait,
I should have bet a lot of money on that bet.
Oh yeah. So Von Frunten is incorrect. Punks are currently 100K floor price. So that is
freaking out. Like, holy shit, if Punks aren't 100K anymore, like what are the rest of my assets at? But no, they're still 110.
He says they're at 99.4K. He thinks them getting that extra $600 is unlikely. I
looked at aggregate. I was pulling all. It looks like the lowest floor I can find is 42.99.
Yeah.
When are we gonna get exhausted by launch pads? It's just there's just so many.
That's what I'm saying. Like I just think
here's the point: is there has been many. Up until recently, Pump.fun has been 99% of it, and they're spilled my tea. Extracting the revenue they're making. They're allowed to do that. I know, yes, they're going to sell a token here soon, and you could participate if you want, but
So they were smart to do well. One, their business, which I know you know, but the second is that that also means that they have a stable pool of money to infuse back into their company and into the users if they decide that they're losing market share, because other people who kept their value on chain had their literal revenue go from one day it's $100 to another day to $100,000, the other day $100 again. Like it's completely logical to turn it all into stables and move it off market, and hopefully they were smart enough to earn interest on those stables by locking them into some other vehicles.
I agree. My whole point on this is I just think I think they missed their optimal window. I think had Pump.fun did their token sale back in April, it not only instant sells out, it probably cooks. They were like, I've never seen anything that didn't have a moat that someone printed nearly $1 billion and didn't not a viable competitor popped up. That's why it's like, well, Boop's going to do it. And Boop it was about the worst vampire attack.
That was a total piece of shit.
Yeah. They I got a claim. I should not have got a claim because traders, actual people they wanted, like Sugar Shane, didn't get a claim. Like, I'm going to take my free money, but I'm not going to talk about your platform. And thanks for the $3,500. It's just been surprising. We haven't seen someone actually form a viable threat to them. And finally, it's happened. Finally. So I will hand it right back to you, Steve.
I wouldn't say it's a viable threat yet. It's only been a few days, and yeah, there's volume, and it's a great launch pad. Like it's not knocking it. It's just that there's no differentiator between launch pads. The only moat is liquidity, and so I mean, like liquidity is kind of like a hot girl. Like one day you're dating her, the next is she's interested in another guy. Like, liquidity is not a moat. And I would say, and I'm not paid by Pump.fun, so I don't care either way. But I mean, Pump.fun is building a moat slowly, just in other operations. But liquidity is never a moat. Liquidity can leave as fast as it comes.
Agreed, but you got to get it. You have to capture it. And so far, we haven't seen anyone really capture anything material until now. And so it's finally happened. And what happened, like, you're right, it's only been a couple days, but early 2025, like I mentioned in April, Pump.fun was doing about $400 million a day in volume. Right now, they're doing about 150 million. Let's Bonk is doing 200 million. So they flipped them. And market share went from Pump.fun having 99.9% to 47%. It's still massive.
Do you have any potential math on how much Bonk is driving up that liquidity internally?
Potentially.
Because remember that Pump.fun had that liquidity during a time where people were providing it. They weren't necessarily juicing it themselves.
Yeah, potentially. I don't know what's going behind these scenes. I'm not going to pretend to know all the what's being manipulated, what's not being manipulated.
Well, just assume, because crypto is, crypto, just assume by default everyone is manipulating their own shit. So all I care about is by what variable. And considering that right now I think people are in Bitcoin or getting screwed.
So
I mean, like, I mean, forced narratives can become real narratives, right?
Agreed.
So, like, I'm not, I don't knock where money is going, and I play the opportunities, but feels a little bit forced to me for meme coin people to try and gamble again because they don't know how to do anything else in life.
Rare that I quote Art Chick on the space, but she had actually a couple of good takes, I thought, regarding this over the weekend. One says, I think Bonk. This is like a really bold take. I don't agree. It's not been decided yet. But she says, I think Bonk won the Launchpad wars mostly because they used Radium. Pump.fun's fatal misstep was creating their own AMM with thinner liquidity. They did this out of greed to make a few extra bucks, and it cost them everything. The other one, and let me go find it, was talking about, it was, I mean, I guess you could call it it's a theory, whether you call it a conspiracy theory or not, but it was basically a take on kind of to your point on liquidity, and is there other people, pumping things into it to make it look good? Well, basically claiming that, Solana's foundation, their wallets aren't public, and who, kind of what you just said, who's pumping this stuff? Her take was, well, how do we know Solana's not just been continuing to pump Pump.fun to make sure that the coin sale goes well? I'm not giving it proper credit. I don't know why I'm having so much trouble finding stuff today, Steve, but if I can, I'll pull it up to share later. But it's just like, there's also, VCs that are some of the early Solana VCs. They're also the Pump.fun VCs. These people have a lot of access. They have access to a lot of capital. And it's very easy to make things look really.
Yeah, and by the way, you can still play those markets and make money. And again, I don't knock anyone trying to build out a new launchpad. I think there's always room for competition, no matter what. I just think I look at, like, the macro narrative, right? I look at what people talk about in Web2 media and on the news and stuff, and it's not meme coins. It's like Bitcoin and
stables
and Robinhood. And that's where it feels like there is the natural narrative. And yet we're on CT trying to make this meme coin narrative. And narratives used to come from CT first. Like, that's what happened. And that's not the case anymore. It's from institution. It's from outside parties. So I don't know. Feels forced to me. I'll still play the market. I'll still make the trades. I'll try and make some money. I'll probably lose money doing it. But I just wouldn't, if I were a person in crypto without a business today and I was just an independent person, I personally wouldn't be spending my time getting vexed into this narrative solely. I'd be looking for what other things people may find exciting.
This is my point, and this is what I look. Preaching to the choir, I've spent the better part of not even just the last 5 years. I was excited about Ethereum in 2016, 2017 because you could build businesses on a Bitcoin-like platform, but faster. Like, I was excited about it. I was showing smart contracts to people who didn't care about crypto at all because I thought it was such cool tech. And then when NFTs came out, that is literally what my book is about. My book is about NFTs in business, not NFTs go to the moon, not like random pump and dump things, but like how NFTs make sense in business. And what you're saying right now that is my point, is that there is a small market for people who really care about meme coins. People who are creators now are like, oh man, did you fade my meme coin that went to 25 mil? Like, which is a big runner. That's great. But like, it's at the point where we knew that this was a highly manipulated insider information market. Frank tweeted, if you're not getting insider information, you failed on crypto Twitter, basically, when meme coins were that hot. Like, he basically just said, insider trading
That was
for
the
the
most
win.
honest tweet he ever made.
And now, like, we're seeing with the GCR stuff now, potentially, which we'll talk about in a minute. We're seeing, we saw it in with Hayden Davis and everything that happened there. It's a giant manipulated market where people are accidentally discovering and then putting wrong contract addresses up for things because it's like, it is a mess. People dumping on and so the market for this is not, look, it's big for crypto. It's small in general. It's not the product. Again, I've said this a million times. It's hilarious the takes that like come back around where it's like, I got pretty beat up in late last year, early this year, when I said that meme coins were not bringing the masses to crypto. The masses were not going to come and use meme coins. And everyone's like, you're crazy. You're just a boomer who doesn't understand. No, it's not happening. It's not a product that is something that retail cares about. And the more launch pads we do, it's just going to keep cannibalizing the, other launch pads, which is fine. Like, play the game, make your money, try to chase runners. I'm not knocking anybody for having fun. I'm just saying that exactly what you're saying. Like, the products people are going to care about are Bitcoin and ETFs and TradFi. They're going to care about on-chain stocks. They're going to care about stable coins. They're going to care about NFTs, but not our ETH NFTs. They're going to be care about how NFTs make their business better. If InfoFi doesn't turn into a, just chase down the latest, latest thing that nobody cares or talks about, and they actually change and flip some things up, InfoFi has a chance to be outside of this space. Like, there's a lot of products that can escape this space and provide better options.
Real quick, we did that. We launched it over the weekend. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, like, it's
What'd you launch?
Split. We built our own content creator wallet for Web2. It'll have crypto enabled in about a month, but mainly stables. But we rolled out the wallet to do events based on video. We're paying out based on video, not tweets. So you have to actually do something interesting. And then later this week we'll roll out our AI live streaming algorithm, which will be paired with it.
What's it called?
Sploot. On Google Chrome, Sploot extension for now. We'll change we'll make it, it won't be called extension, but Sploot extension.
Yeah. And like, by the way, like again, like my pinned post, if people are interested right now, I have an entire 2,500 word article. You can listen to it also, or put into AI. I don't care if people summarize my stuff in AI because I know it's long, but about this is why InfoFi is good. This is why it's bad. This is what works. This is what doesn't. And if real businesses want to use InfoFi, because that's always where my background and my interest is, it's like, I think it's cool to have our own little sector of the internet. I think it's cooler to say, what can we do that can escape this sector that actually is useful? And so, like, I wrote an entire, long read on InfoFi and what that can be. And I like exploring how products can escape, but like, meme coins aren't it. And like, I don't think I think we lose connection with the real world in this space sometimes with the products we think that people are going to care about. And I've done it before. Like, I thought PFPs initially creating decentralized clubs during COVID was very interesting. I think that the directions they went, where it was just, how can we print more money and do more airdrops, probably drop that down a little bit. I still think there's something interesting about like if Disney had a PFP. Like, I know that Disney's not going to do it. They have heavy control over the brand, all the good stuff. Disney could drop a 500,000 PFP collection that has minimal utility, where there's rarity, which like has certain individual one-of-ones. They could be successful with it. Like Disney could, and they could program against it and make it work. Now, do they care? Do they want to? Probably not. But like brands could do PFPs and still make them clubs and make it really cool. They could even have annual fees tied to it, where utility is tied to an annual fee. So you could own the PFP just as a collectible, or you can own the PFP for utility. You do a lot about that. But I think like products that are going to escape are important to me. And like, that's why like, I'm not trying to be like a boomer yelling at a cloud. Have your fun with meme coins. I used to get people mad at me too when I'd be like, I don't participate in these things, but have fun. They'd be like, you just don't understand. This is bringing in the masses. People are going to want to use it. Just have your fun, do your gambling, be good at it. Congrats to those who are. It was a big insider trade early on. Looks like it's potentially was always a big insider trade. And I don't know that. I just think people like another Pump.fun, another launchpad. Awesome. Got to talk about it. It's part of the market. I don't care. I don't care about like the latest launchpad. Like I'm not chasing it down.
Is where it's like, but it's arguably the best product market fit from a revenue generation standpoint on chain we've ever seen. Like they nailed a real business with real product market fit. We could debate in terms of how wide it's going to go, or is anyone outside of crypto ever going to use it? I would also say, yes, we've already seen that happen. You've got several, I'm not saying it's sticky. I'm not saying it worked or they built great, but many Web 2 founders came in and launched their own coins. Most of them went to zero, but there's a real business there. They generated nearly $1 billion in their first year. By the way, that also came out of the weekend is Binance did actually generate not only $1 billion revenue, they made $1 billion of profits their first year. I think it's probably the first time we've ever seen that happen in the history of the world. $1 billion of profits in year one.
I'm doing life wrong. Fuck.
Yeah, you're not successful till your startup does $1 billion.
Fuck, guys, I'm canceling the wallet and the algorithm. I gotta go back to the drum.
You got to do a launcher, Jonah. It's just
I'm building a centralized exchange now.
My whole point, just because it's not for you or not for us, doesn't mean it doesn't work or they don't have a good product.
I didn't say it didn't work. I said that people outside of this space,
profit is
but
insane.
people outside of the space have come in. And
no, they don't care about it. They don't. There's very minimal.
Not everyone. Some do. Some have.
The point I'm making is there is minimal product market fit, if any. Very, 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 very little outside of this space. People don't care about meme coins outside of crypto people, and occasionally people come into like celebrities launching scam coins to me. Alongside who don't even know they're launching it, by the way. Like one of the celebrities said they tweeted a contract address thinking it was a referral code. I think it was Jason Derulo or someone. Like, I don't remember. They thought it was a referral code. Someone's like, this is a referral code to get to this thing. Go do it. Like, they're not coming in because they think it's awesome to launch it. Like, and they think that this is so cool and it's going to build a community. No, it's like people are launching to either extract. There's exceptions to the rule where people have enough
space. Can I
space.
ask you a question that'll throw you off and give you another tangent?
Go on.
Okay. Why do you think that traditional cards and Labubus have taken the NFT cycle and have eliminated NFTs in the process this cycle?
Well, it depends how you're defining it, because like they've eliminated sort of the PFP craze we saw from 2021.
The hype, like it used to be that you collected these PFPs and that was like the big hype thing. Now, instead of NFT cycle returning, it's Pokemon card, basically any card you can get your hands on, quite frankly, and then pack ripping.
I've got a counter to this. Someone had a really great counter, and I want to give them credit. I just need to find it because they had data backing this up, and they're. I'm not saying you're wrong. They were saying you're wrong with data in the fact that we're just early. It's just early. Like we've not went full bull yet. And the same thing, they used examples. Let me go find it so I can speak intelligently. But the same thing happened last cycle, pre the NFT mania. And they basically were saying like Labubus and Pokemon, it could be leading into like the Top Shot moment that was January of 21 last cycle.
I don't think so. I mean, my gut feeling is like a couple things. One, Pokemon cards are just a different category altogether. Pokemon cards to me are cards, man. Like they have a tie into people's childhood. They're a well-known brand. They're one of the largest, most recognizable brand in the world. In NFTs, we have like people know what a Bored Ape is. outside, maybe they know about the monkey JPEGs, but like NFTs didn't really like rip through the mainstream. VFriends, you could argue in some ways just because they have some other properties that did well, and Pudgy Penguins with gifts, you could say. But generally speaking, like people don't know what most of these are or do. And convincing someone to buy a $25,000 penguin picture is hard. There's a lower barrier to entry. There is a natural organic growth with them. I can't explain Labubus the same way I can't explain any sort of craze of any sort of thing at the time. I just know that people get excited when they see them.
I just think that Labubus is actually bullish for things like collectible NFTs. I don't think it's bearish at all. It's just, I think it's the fact that people are collecting things that some other people can't make sense. I don't think that's bearish just because there's not NFTs tied to Labubus.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess like to kind of like put a button on the meme coin thing, and then we can kind of keep going down this road if we want. Like, agree, like it makes a lot of money, and a lot of people in crypto put a lot of money towards it. It's not going to have major escape velocity in our space, and the launchers are going to cannibalize the traffic against each other because people are just going to be looking, where can I get an airdrop or a little bit of an edge, or where can I get the insider information? Like that's what this is. Like, this isn't a real, again, go to a restaurant, stand up, and just be like, hey, how many people here want to trade meme coins? No one's going to know what it is. Okay, cool. You know that Trump coin? People probably have a bad association with it. All right, guys, what do you think about the idea of putting $300 into something that is then $27 within 15 minutes? It's like a bet, but you don't actually get to watch a sport. Like, it's just not a large product market fit. There are always going to be people who want to gamble, but like, it works in the space. It's going to print money in the space. My point is, I care in the sense, great, it's a business that exists here. It's not something I like particularly care about talking about. It's not something I talk about outside of, our space in particular. It's not something I think is going to have large escape velocity. And I think they're going to cannibalize each other slowly over time if we just keep seeing launchers go through. Like, I just don't think it's a major fit. But again, my personal take, my personal feelings, like to your point, like and I'm not saying anybody shouldn't enjoy it. I'm saying I don't like it personally, and I don't think it has a large product market fit out of this space. Like the fact that celebrities are saying they thought they were sharing a referral code when somebody got them a contract address. That's what Sahil said.
It's an outlier. Celebrity scam coin is an outlier. And I don't know. I think
you said famous people came into the space and launched coins. That's what those were.
I'm not talking about celebrities. I'm talking about like Ben Pastranac and other actual Silicon Valley VCs that came into this space by way of Pump.fun and meme coin launchpads.
There's a lot of Silicon Valley VCs who came in outside of investing in something that makes money. Like, did they come in and they came in and launch coins? Like, I don't.
He launched a platform.
So you're saying VCs launched something that was making money in the crypto space?
Specific example. You said it's not happening. I'm giving a specific example of people who come in. I'm not saying it's bad. So I'm not saying I got in it, but Believe was launched by Ben Pastranac. And yeah, it was because of things like this, these launch pads. And yeah, I'm not saying everyone is going to use a meme coin launch pad. I think it's not accurate to say they don't have, like, they found product market fit. My whole point was, it's wild to me that one company has dominated 100%, nearly 100%.
I agree with that. I agree with all that. I agree. Now in our space, people use it.
And when you start having viable competition, you see movement in the marketplace, like we're seeing, like BonkFun's buying their token and burning it. Like they're going to give some back to the community. Like, we're seeing more actual movement versus Pump.fun becoming billionaires. Like,
I agree with that.
Competition's a good thing. And I know it's not your world. What I'm telling you is there's a lot of people that have played the Pump.fun launchpad route, that are paying attention to the Pump.fun launchpad route. And yes, if you don't think VCs are paying attention to something that generated $700 million in revenue in its first year, I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's going to be more of this stuff, not less.
I mean, I agree. It has a product market fit in crypto. That's it. A lot of money moving around and pushing around and people looking for that edge. That's fine. My point is, I agreed with everything you said. Like, competition is good. I think it's weird Pump.fun dominated. I don't enjoy it. I understand other people do. I say go have fun with it. Yes, VCs are going to look to print money on crypto. It's an extractive play for VCs where they know that they can make money and it's a guaranteed sort of printer. That's awesome. My point being, outside of this space, it's not really a big thing. It's like people outside of crypto or very, very close crypto adjacent are not going to care about this product. It's not what people talk about. It's not what people care about. And that's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, not everything has to be for everyone. Like, not everyone's into the cardboard market, and it's a perfectly good market. That's fine. It can be a large market that has a niche group of people.
I mean, I don't think there's anyone outside of VFriends that are buying VFriend stickers today. It's like the same thing. This is just has many more zeros tied to it.
I'm not sure what that has to do with the Pump.fun. Like, I'm not sure.
A product for VFriend for Web3 crypto people only.
I mean, it's a product for Gary Vaynerchuk fans. Like, that is a very outside of Web3. Like, I don't like boxes that were exclusively sold to VFriend holders sold at a 4x to people. I'm not. I agree it's a niche product. Like, I think
in the VFriends ecosystem. I don't think there's anyone outside of the VFriends ecosystem that's paying a 3x premium for VFriend stickers.
But that's simply not. But that's simply not true. That's simply not what happened. The Topps Chrome crowd cares about Topps Chrome stuff because it's like a whole niche. I agree that's also a niche market, but that just wasn't the best example. They probably could have fired a lot of shots on some other stuff, but that just happens to be one where when you launch in Topps Chrome has a whole bunch of people who just want to buy Topps Chrome stuff. And so like card collectors go and chase that stuff because they're the same way like we would be obsessed with random NFTs that have nothing to do with the ecosystem we care about. There are collectors who do it. That example doesn't exactly play as much, but I also don't think that there's like some major VFriends cards or stickers market either. I just think that it is collectors in some degree. There are certain people who collect certain things, and Gary can go outside of the space there. I don't see how that's analogous to like a thing where people buy to collect / sell versus a thing where people, it's just very different products. Like, and like the product for cardboard Topps Chrome is wider than the outside of Web3 is much wider than how many people want to buy a shit coin. Like, that's very different. But either way, like I agree with pretty much everything you said. I just said I don't care about it, and I don't think that the majority of the masses are going to care about it. And I think it's good there's competition, though. Let them eat each other alive and see what happens, and we'll see if there's something crazy that comes out of that. The GCR thing was interesting, though, related to that. So it sounds like, did I read this right? I know you kind of hit on this, but like he was getting tipped on Binance listings, and so he wasn't a really good trader, but he had to make good calls, right? Because he called the Luna fail and stuff, so he wasn't all bad, right? Like, and this is all accusations, it's rumors, right? Like, I'm not like missing anything. I just want to catch up on that.
Yes, it's accusations, but it's coming from a lot of semi-credible sources, and people are now like, I lean towards it's probably how things went down is because you're seeing like more people come out of the woodworks. Like now that people are finally talking about this, here's what I knew. And like, it's one of those things like,
yeah,
what I saw on the timeline, it gave me like where there's smoke, there's fire. Is GCR very intelligent and smart? Yes. I mean, to be able to hack into Amazon, AWS, and to be able to get people on Binance on your payroll, like that doesn't just happen. But if all that were to be true, then, and you had an edge in trading, then, I'm not saying he wasn't a good trader, his results speak for himself, but it appears he had a lot of inside info and there's some screenshots that, unless comes out and says no, it's just like you don't know what's real anymore, right? Like the screenshots look very damning, like basically bragging that he knew what coins were coming. I just probably know it was made by AI. It's just, I don't know what's real and what's not. It's just, there was a lot of people, and I don't like, it's one of those things like, if it's not true, why is like, what do people have to attack what's in it for them to attack GCR right now? It just, I'm leaning it's probably had inside info. He probably had people on Binance on payroll. He probably hacked and got some other inside info. Like, and then, yeah, when if 9 out of 10 of your trades, what the result is going to be before you trade, you don't have to be 100% on the other one, like you're going to have an insanely good track record. So I'm sure he hit on some things like Luna that was just a good call because he's obviously very close to the space. But yeah, I don't know.
It was like shooting fish in a barrel. It was like he basically was just he had the calls, he knew what he was doing, and he played him. And like I mean, look, like actually, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do the more you know on him, and then we'll go from there or her. But I think it's a him. I think it's known.
The more you know, brought to you by ENS.
It's time for the more you know, brought to you by our friends at ENS, and let's talk about GCR, which I didn't know until recently stood for Gigantic Cast-Rocked Rebirth. I don't even know what that means, but apparently that's who he is and what it stands for. One of the most legendary traders in crypto history, known for turning a few $1,000s into hundreds of millions. GCR made his name with bold, contrarian bets, like his public $10 million short on Luna, as we talked about before the collapse in 2022. But lately, he's back on the news for the wrong reasons. In May, GCR's Twitter account was hacked and used to pump a series of meme tokens, generating quick profits for hackers. GCR quickly regained access and warned followers not to trust anything posted during the breach. Then in June, while it's linked to GCR, suddenly dumped over 170 million cult tokens for more than $500,000, just weeks after receiving a $1 million airdrop from Arkham Intelligence. That sparked fresh accusations of insider trading, and things escalated when a new report alleged GCR may have early access to Binance listing information, a serious claim in a market where timing is everything. Right now, there's no hard proof tying him to wrongdoing, but in a space driven by reputation and speed, even suggesting inside access cast a long shadow. And that was the more you know, brought to you by ENS, not just anchoring your name across Web3, but anchoring it across the internet. It's your identity, simple, memorable, and unmistakable. Your security, interoperability, and ease of use. Go to ens.domain, secure your ENS domain. And like, look, man, I mean, crime season in crypto, I swear, just constantly. It's just like whether it's the Nate Chastain stuff or, you know, I don't know, man. The GCR thing was like, okay, so this guy who everyone's like talking about being this great trader, and then you find that there was like potentially some insider info in play. It's just stuff like that. Like, we've basically seen this, and like it's the crypto reputation problem we have to overcome, because there's technology here, there's opportunity here. People obviously like Bitcoin, and I think ETH. It's funny because somebody mentioned, you mentioned in the FFE tweet, like, you don't even remember what you were doing 6 months ago. I regularly forget that ETH was like $4,000 6 months ago. That still is just a kick in the pants when you think about that, and ETH just not doing their thing. So I don't know. I don't know if you found the tweet though, but a couple people have kind of agreed with you on the Labubu / cards thing, by the way, saying, Pokemon cards.
Anyone knows who I'm talking about. This is just, I was going to share some of the, again, these could be doctored. They may not be real, but it's GCR talking about literal money printing. I was the one buying 12 hours before the dump, et cetera, et cetera. Again, maybe it's all fake. Maybe it's all made up. It would be odd that a lot of people decided to fabricate a bunch of fake stuff, and again, basically had access. He hacked the Binance Amazon server and had Binance employees on payroll to let him see what would get listed.
I mean, that's like legit corruption. Like, that's actually like even impressive corruption for crypto specifically, right? Because like, I think like that's one of those ones where it's like when he's talking about having people on the payroll and things like that. It's one thing to get like insider information. Like, we talked about this during the like the Hayden Davis thing, where like it felt like there was like levels, where there was like the closest level on the launcher, their inner circle, tell a friend, get to the streamers, they tell a friend. Like, it felt like there was like sort of this levels to it. I think like this is this is organized crime that we're having described here. No, I mean, like, this is organized crime. This isn't like small. So I don't know, man. Like, this one is it's a very bad look, and I don't know. I don't know, man. Like, I saw that over the weekend, and I just like it's just another thing where it's like, thankfully, like, this isn't a big deal outside of crypto, but like it is a problem when your best traders and people making your best like, if it gets found out that someone calling stocks, who has been the most successful trader on Wall Street, running up a $500 million, hedge fund or something, was just getting insider information the whole time, like, that's a big story. And so, like, I guess just for our space, like, that's kind of big.
Yeah, especially because of who it is, right? It's not just some whale, it's someone who's been put on a pedestal as a literal god tier trader. And I guess we could all trade like a deity if we knew what was coming.
I guess like I can't putting myself in the mindset of I have trouble putting myself in the mindset of a trader who, or a criminal, I should say. But like, if you are getting all the inside information, why would you be calling it public to look like some public god as a non-doxed person or whatever? Like, why would you not just shut up and keep it to yourself and like try to stay under the radar?
Ego, narcissism, and ego.
Like you're painting a big target on your back. It's like you have a money printer that you talk about.
But after you have the money printer and you have all the money that you need, like what else do you want? You want power, you want prestige, you want I'm the best, you want like I'm not saying I want this. I'm saying that like I'm guessing it's like, you know, now I need to be praised for how great of a trader I am.
Yeah.
I haven't found the exact tweet, but it may actually show up in this thread. You'll get the gist here. There's a few. I think it was Moon. It was a Moon Overlord's tweet. This is what set it off. Said, really think Pokemon cards stole NFTs thunder this cycle. The buyer pool overlaps heavily. We're entering crazy land. I can't even name how many cards are up 500 to 1,000% in the last year. Hundreds of cards. There's one quote tweet that I'm looking for. I'm not able to find yet, but there's a few here that are basically the same theme. Nico says, funny thing is, last Pokemon Bowl ran in tandem with NFT Mania. The performance of NFTs this cycle has little to nothing to do with Pokemon cards cannibalizing markets. In fact, platforms like BZ, Courtyard, and Rip.fun, etc., the amount of cards being moved on chain has never been greater, though still small, relatively speaking. So don't buy the take. Praddock, our friend over at BZ, says, I always keep Pokemon and NFT in the NFT pumping cycle different. If we were looking at Pokemon sales on chain to what NFTs were in 2021, that would not be an ideal way to look at it. At BZ, we core focus that people enjoy collectibles on chain. Blockchain will never be why users use BZ. It will be for the community, credibility of the product. At the same time, there's a niche in Web3 that can truly gamble with Pokemon, but that gamble is short term. Love the take, though. Different way to look at something we love. And then the one I was really looking for, this isn't it, but this is basically the gist of it. This actually might be a reliable indicator to understanding when NFT fever will come back. In 2021, Pokemon fever and sports cards fever blew up before NFTs blew up. Steve, I hadn't collected cardboard since, I don't know, high school, since the late 1900s. I started collecting cardboard in 2020 again. Like I got my cards out, and I wasn't the only one. Like traditional cards, sports cards, had a huge boom leading up to the NFT mania. And then we saw a lot of those people, myself being one of them, move from traditional cards into Top Shot. This is basically the take of saying that this could play out a similar way. And then this increased demand for cards resulting in supply shortage, raising speculative trading. And basically, as more people go into collecting Pokemon, you would think some of them are going to find their way on chain. You would think some of them might start looking for other things to collect. You might think some of them, I think the collecting craze that we're seeing right now, I think it's very bullish for NFTs. And for me, it reminds me of exactly what we saw before NFTs started popping off. It was like, I can try to find some charts, but the cardboard craze, it caught on big time prior to NFTs.
Yeah,
I think you're missing one part of this is that people still like holding things physically in their hand. You can't do that with NFTs. At least most people don't do it with the NFTs.
Maybe. I mean, once I found Top Shot, I put my cardboard away and I was like, wow, this is just a way better way to speculate and buy and sell collectibles on collectible cards.
Yeah, but you and I are outliers, right? We just have to look at the average. The average person has a low IQ. I mean, just being honest, right? I don't hate people. It's just like science. Average person has a low IQ, so the concept right now of owning something in the ether sphere but not physically holding it is still a novel and taboo concept to an average person. And there's several generations of family who are used to holding cardboard and being invested in that. So in one part, it is definitely still early for NFTs. And the other part, that doesn't necessarily mean that an NFT catalyst will happen this cycle. I mean, right now we have a couple of companies like the BZ and there's a couple of them, right? I'm forgetting the names, but they even them they have a very small market share of the cardboard market, but they are growing. Um, I'm just not sure that that'll correlate to NFTs. I hope so. I look, the NFT run and market was a lot more fun than the meme coin market. And I'm not talking about like, you know, making money. I'm just talking about the experience because I've made way more money on meme coins than NFTs, and I still would prefer an NFT market because at least people believed in something more than just money back then.
I like, I'll say this, I think this discussion is has to be again, has to be super nuanced, because I generally agree. Like, I don't expect people to come in and say, I'm going to spend $100,000 for a CryptoPunk because I bought a Labubu. I do think that there is a move towards the world is becoming increasingly digital. I do think just watching how my kids interact, they're going to be okay buying digital things they want to own. I think that holding something in your hand is becoming less important as generations grow up more digitally. In fact, I'm seeing it. I'm watching it play out and unfold. I think there's a chance there's a craze, but it has nothing to do with the current set of it's very possible we could see do I think they're going to be necessarily ETH NFTs or whatever? No, I mean, it might be cheap layer 2s. It might be, people buying again, an NFT of a Pokemon card that's backed by a physical. I think there's going to be new markets that emerge. I don't think it's going to be like it was in 2021. It wouldn't shock me if something that rhymed with 2021 in that sense happened, though, where it was there was a low-cost NFTs and communities formed, and kids as they get older are looking for digital collectibles and finding private, gated discords. That's entirely possible. But I don't think it's going to necessarily lead to people coming in and saying, I want to buy a, Pudgy Penguin or a Gutter Cat Gang or a Bored Ape or a Doodle or a whatever. I think we're going to enter a time when either the actual utility or the value of the NFT is going to matter more than the utility. Can't just be number go up. People are going to want to join things for a reason. And I think we actually have teams that can build businesses now that would do that. But, I could see a world where Pudgy Penguins continues to grow. They come out with a series. They start to proliferate that. They know the gifts, people, and maybe they release a insanely cheap, completely open mint of this gets you maybe this access by joining the Pudgy Penguins, or we have 100,000 mint for $7 or whatever the thing is, right? I could see that happening too. So I think there's a bunch of directions this could go, but I think the next meta of NFTs, whether it's just business NFTs that you don't know are NFTs, whether it's collectibles that are tied to physicals, whatever it is, I think it's going to be driven directly by how successful some of these businesses are and what they put together. I don't think it's going to be driven by get a wallet, get an NFT, and that's going to get you a house in Sandbox, which is then going to get you a special car in Sandbox, which will get you 4 airdrops, and then that's going to get you to the next thing, and then you're going to stake it to earn this coin that's not worth anything. I don't think that's the next meta. I think there's going to be actual metas that make sense that could drive people towards them. I think it's going to look very different than what we're used to, and I'm just flexible to being open-minded to paying attention to what happens from there instead of, thinking it's going to be like 2021 and when people are just going to be going to OpenSea to buy something, immediately flip it for a 3x profit, buy 3, 1 to flip to get your 2x, 1 to sell on the run up, and 1 to hold. I don't think that meta is necessarily coming back, but I do think there's a chance people will find collectibles and digital collectibles as something that they want. I just don't know it's going to look anything like what we had in 2021, if that makes sense.
Oh, I agree. Yeah. I don't see the mania is not coming back ever to that level, I don't think, but I think more people over time come on chain, and I think this entire genre of collectors, physical collectors, some of them, I mean, I already just doing a basic limited research about these Labubus, Labubu. How do you even say it? What's the correct
Labubu?
Labubu. I mean, the first thing it talks about is artificial scarcity. It's like bring them on chain. It's a better product. When people are buying something over, it being rare or not, like for many reasons, knowing what we know, it makes sense. Whether they incorporate some authentic, some tech to authenticate that it's, the supply and it's a real one, or they use things, lean into things like BZ where it. By the way, this is in my limited research there. It was created 10 years ago, and it just popped off last year because Blackpink Lisa, whoever that is, was spotted with Labubu keychain in April of last year, or April 24, excuse me. And then
she's a mega celebrity, not just a little celebrity.
Yeah, mega celebrity in Asia, kicked it off globally. Rihanna, Dua Lipa, Kardashians, etc. But yeah, this sold in limited edition blind boxes, each with rare variants, 1 in 72 chance, full in hype and repeat buying. This quote unquote artificial scarcity model is central to Pop Mart's rapid growth strategy. I don't know. Maybe it is just a short spike and they're just the next Beanie Babies. I think this idea of pack rips and blind boxes, and maybe it is because I'm in this echo chamber now and I get fed it a lot more than I used to, but it just seems like it's becoming so much bigger part of our society. And
my kids set alarms. My kids set alarms for Roblox to get to Pet Simulator 99 and other types of other games they have on there to get blind box items. My daughter loves a blind box, even a physical blind box. Like you said, we were in Savannah as part of the trip, like when we drove to Savannah from Hilton Head, and she went in and bought something that had a blind box related to it, where it was like a blind box that she opened up to get like a 3D printed like dragon or something, but she knew she was getting one of several and she thought it was interesting. And I think like you mentioned the authentication, like that's really interesting. Like if Labubu's had a chip that you clicked and it just said, yes, this is legit Labubu number 579.
Just that, and to verify quantity and supply. Like we grew up in the 80s where Topps and everyone else, they destroyed the cardboard market because it was all fake artificial supply. Like they flooded the markets with supply and no one knew until it was too late. Like for those two reasons alone, it's collectibles are a better product on chain, or having an on chain component to where you can validate all this stuff. And I can't be convinced otherwise. And maybe it takes decades until everyone believes that, but
and to build on what you're saying there, why wouldn't the answer is there's no good answer to it, because my kids will tell you the same thing. Like, why wouldn't you want to have, like, if my daughter could get a Labubu, great. If she could get a Labubu and scan it, and then that scan gave her a digital collectible in a wallet that she had the Labubu somewhere, great. If that can be used somewhere that she plays regularly, even better. And like, that's the point, like where we're going.
Yes.
And I think that is more likely to be the next NFT meta, where there's like Dia Lupa rocks out with something on her, some new bracelet that has 4 words on it that costs 6 cents to make that you could sell for like $1,000 or $100 or whatever. And you scan it and it gives you the same thing, and you can wear it around on chain, or, on chain, and you have like one that you could like, that's interesting. And by the way, if you have a physical tied to it, it solves a scamming problem of theft, because if my daughter has a Labubu that she scans, that puts it in her wallet that she'd use, and again, down the line, it lets her navigate certain spaces. Well, my daughter can then, someone steals it from her online or scams her, she scans her Labubu and takes custody right back. Like, you have it like basically like stuffed animal bound, right? A stuffed animal, like we have book bound NFTs that we had sent out with some of our everything tokens to some of our friends and family and people who helped us promote it and things, where when you scan that, it goes to your wallet. If somebody else has the book, it's book bound. They can take it. But then if you have the book in your possession, if like somebody were to scam you and steal something from you, you scan the book again, it shows right back up in your wallet. Like, that is a theft-proof thing that, yes, someone could steal your physical and steal it. Like, that happens, but that's, harder to do in some instances, right? Where it's like, if you're careful about it. So I agree with you wholehearotely on that. Also realized it's 9:45 and we haven't done a market update. You want to get that in?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. The whole new setup has got me. Yeah. All right. We got it now.
the daily market update straight to your brain. Powered by ApeCoin, no hype, just gains. Moving on 8chain, we bringing the heat. NFTs, fence alpha, never miss a beat. 8chain on top, now we bringing the flex. The home of NFTs, these now what's next. Come on, my head time, but you want the time to chop for one time.
It is time for the Daily Market Update powered by ApeCoin, the home of NFTs. ApeChain has it all, bringing culture, fun, and community to the blockchain. Dive in and see why ApeChain is on top. Cap.
Yes, it is time for this Daily Market Update. Steve, you would be impressed. I actually finally updated the widget on my phone so that I can now track our favorites, Hype and Fartcoin, in real time, even though they're not popping on the Coinbase 50 chart yet. But I felt like it would look prettier this morning because it was almost all green. But before I flash up the tab, does that come? Yeah, you can kind of see that, right? Like now I have I'm actually using a financial widget on my iPhone, like it's 1999. Before I talk on these numbers, my mind was blown because I looked at the market this morning. I was like, oh, it's basically flat. And then I saw a post that there was nearly $200 million liquidated in crypto in the last 24 hours. I'm like, what are people doing? Like, it was not a crash. I don't think there was a flash crash that I missed. It was like down like less than 1%, and people are getting wiped out. Like the lever bars must be getting really ratcheted up or something. Because I was floored because markets are fine, I guess. Like, definitely would not have looked at this and thought, oh, people are getting wiped out by way of liquidations. Bitcoin is flat, 108,452. ETH up 1% to 25.50. XRP up 1%, $2.28. Solana up 2% to 151. Doge up 2%, and Cardano is flat.
It will never not amaze me, by the way, or at some point it will. But in the current state of affairs, it will never not amaze me. Probably in the next calendar year that Bitcoin's above 100K, and that's just it. It's just normal. It just is. Like, we celebrated 100K like 3 months ago or whatever. It was like, I don't even remember when it was. A huge deal. Just sits above 100K. No big deal. Just sits there. Anyway, keep going.
I don't know when it happens. I'm going to double down on my take, though. I think there's some psychological threshold close to 100K. Right now, people who aren't in Bitcoin, they're thinking, oh, it's 108K. I missed it. I'm like $8,000 too late. There's still this magnet to that 100K threshold. I think once it breaks out, hits, I don't know if it's 120, 125, maybe it's got to get all the way to 150. I don't know. But once it distances itself from 100, then I think people start saying their whole mentality shifts. And like, well, maybe I'm actually early now. People are saying Bitcoin's going to 1 million. Same people that said it was going to 100K, and it did that. So now instead of being late, maybe I've got another 10X in it. And I still think we see that happen. I think we see a crazy breakout over the second half of the year here. Rune June was wrong. Apparently it was Rune July. I don't know what's going on in the Rune ecosystem. I saw not only the crazy volume with Dog, it flipped a few. It might have broke the top 10 in meme coins in terms of market cap, pretty close, right around like ApeCoin range, actually right now at 459 million. Looking at those memes, Doge, as I mentioned, up 2%, Shiba's flat, Pepe up a 1%, Bonk down 1%, SPX Morag coin up 6%, leading the way. I mentioned Fartcoin is up just about 1%, and Hype is flat, up 0.37%. Billy dipped back a little bit, so keep letting that dip. I'm ready to load up a bag, and Rect, as we mentioned, up 12% on the day. That was my mistake earlier, thinking it was in the against the claims. Didn't realize that claim was delayed or vested, so not quite as promising. And our friends over at Ape, they're also flat at little over 60 cents. Looking at NFTs though, Steve, we've got added all these other charts here. If you're curious, the market is down this morning. Not a whole lot, but a little bit of bleeding out. At least the majors, the Mag 7. NFT land, Apes down to 10.38, down 3% on the day. Mutants down 1.2%. Little Pudgies up almost 1% to 1.55. Redacted Remilio babies seeing some volume again, 0.43 ETH on those. VFriends saw 7 sales. I'm guessing people positioning themselves for those sticker packs today. 1.75 is the floor there. Pudgy's flat at 9.49. Milady's down, or basically flat at 2.1. Meebits down 6%. Supreme Kong, anyone know what this one is? Down 28%, 124 sales. Opepin's also down 6%. Supreme Kong, I have no idea what this is.
And no OpenSea sort of things to speak of. So it's not like there's like an OpenSea Quest. OpenSea Quest is empty this morning, which surprised me. Maybe they're slowing down.
Good.
Yeah.
I mean, these seem like legit sales. The last ones were 0.7. So something must be going on. I'm just not familiar with the Supreme Kongs. If someone is, feel free to give us the update. But premier brand IP of Jungle Labs. Again, looks like the token was compromised. I don't know what's going on here, but it is Kong season, they say. So if anyone is aware of this one, it's kind of to Whale's point, back to the earlier we were talking other deeds. There's still a lot of motion in NFT land that that very few people talk about, right? It's like the usual suspects: apes, pudgies, miladies, V-Friends, obviously CryptoPunks, Azuki. There's others that really, like Chimpers is one that comes to mind. I saw they broke into the top 100 NFTs. Like, that team hasn't stopped shipping since they began, and there is still something going on there. Thanks, Payne. Payne says they're older. Used to be some very shady things with the founders. Not sure if leadership changed. I don't know either. So again, I have zero knowledge of that collection, so I just sharing the market update here. That was our daily market update, brought to you by ApeChain, by the way. ApeChain on top. One thing that I mentioned, like, one of the individuals I want to get on the show for one of our Mondays here, couldn't make it today, but the Allo's pass over there. Allo, one of the devs on ApeChain, been doing some cool stuff, has a daily quest type of user interface, and you don't have to hold the Allo pass to participate. So I don't want to derail this too much. I'll save a lot of it until we get Allo on here to actually talk through it. But it was kind of a conversation over the weekend. I'll share our actually, I'm not going to make picks yet on Cap's clutch market parlay of the day, but it's stuff like this that, like, I feel collectibles are better on chain, especially with the big beautiful build taking a shot at all the sports gamblers. Prediction markets and things like clutch market, where you can do on-chain parlays, are like increasingly important to someone like myself. Like, I will be betting on my sports bets on Billy, my parlays on clutch market. Like, that's the sort of stuff where it's novel, real product market fit. It doesn't have millions of users yet today, but the community is tight, it's strong, and sports bettors are, not all, but a lot of them are daily users. And it's just like, we're seeing more and more of this stuff come on chain and find real product market fit. And I think that's probably why a lot of this stuff is new. You talk about liking it back to like 2021, and we went from cardboard to NFTs. And I think part of Top Shot's advantage is they were ahead of the curve in terms of making their front end very Web 2 friendly. They had create your wallet with a Gmail, right? Like, they had, even though interoperability wasn't a thing back then, and it really TBD. It's just like the actual foundational rails of crypto has come light years from where we once were. And there's really cool shit being built on chain. It's just, we want to talk about how shitty the content is on crypto Twitter, because that's the meta. It's just like, I'm not going to go back to that rant, but a lot of exciting stuff getting built. It gets me really excited for, like, hey, one of my favorite NFTs, like, yes, they're a sponsor, but my Clutch Puppy, it has real utility. And am I expecting Clutch Puppies to run to $100,000? No, absolutely not. But I'm like, it's generating income for me right now. And I think that we might see more and more of builders bring what previously they probably wouldn't have ever thought about building on chain. I think more look at this as a real viable spot to launch a business, to build a business, and are starting to understand the benefits of building on chain and what that can unlock that you just can't do in a Web 2 environment. And I think a lot of people don't even view like Polymarket as a crypto company. People that aren't here, right? It's, that's one of the prediction markets. It's
great example. Great example. Yep.
I mean, that's I thought they would not die, but I thought they would kind of fade into irrelevance post-election. That has not happened. They've continued to grow, and we don't, I myself included, we don't talk enough about how these crypto native companies have broken into. They've broken out of Web3. They've broken out of just crypto native users, and I think that is maybe the next big wave. Is we see people build on crypto, leveraging crypto rails, leveraging technology like NFTs, but they're not launching their business or their brand or their product to a crypto base. They're launching to the masses, but they're going to start building here. And I know we've seen it. I think that like, if I could say what's the ideal next 6 to 12 months, like more of that, more real businesses being built. We talk about Ape Chain and it's the home of NFTs. It's awesome. I'm challenge all the builders out there to go beyond that. Instead of just a PFP collection, look at something like Allopass. Look at something like Clutch Market. Clutch Market has a PFP collection. It's not what you would view as a collectible PFP, right? As far as like, that's all it does. And I'm not saying like, I understand like, oh, you can, utility back debt can be a challenge. If it's easier. Like, I think we're at a point where the tech has caught up with a lot of the ideas, and I don't know. We haven't even hit on like, the AI, everything happening in AI, but I think a lot of that too ends up on chain. So yeah, long story short, I don't even know if I have a point there, but I'm excited, man. I think it's an incredible time to be here. And while I'm not expecting another NFT mania in terms of the PFP world, I'm maybe as convinced as ever that NFTs are here to stay, and it's a very good technology that we've only just begun really tapping into what they can unlock.
That's where my head's at too. Like, I agree with you on all of that. Like, I think that's like good, Clutch Markets and Billy Bets. Like, these are examples of like on-chain products as they continue to grow and the UX improves on them. It's like Top Shot's still a good product. Like, I think people like sometimes get mad because they lost money on Top Shot. I get it, but it was a good product. It's a good product that makes sense on paper. It's just, they did the same thing we talked about with the traditional cardboard market when we were in the 80s and 90s, where they just printed, and they understandably thought there was more demand than there wasn't, because it's sort of like all this crypto money came in. Like, people who didn't care about basketball were collecting them. It's that simple. People who didn't care about basketball, didn't watch ball, didn't know anything about it, didn't care. They were like, ooh, I need to make sure I get a, Jared Allen or a Miles Turner moment, or like, oh my God, did I get a JJ Barea throwback? It's like, these aren't like people who knew who these people were, what they were. They just did it to do it, right? Like, there are people like myself who got more educated on the recent crop of basketball players and learned more about like the bench players than they did previously, more about the rookies, things like that. But like, they overprinted, it happened, but it's a good product. And I agree. Like, I think real world assets, I think, prediction markets, Polymarket is just a thing people talk about on political networks when something major is coming up, or around anything major in the world. They'll talk about what the Polymarket odds are. So they're real, as long as those markets aren't manipulatable, right? Like, if there's someone who places a big bet on something that they can affect. But yeah, I think things like that are real. I think real use cases of real crypto products are where we're going to end up. So I'm with you on that. I know we're closing it on 10. Anything else we wanted to hit on before we let everyone get out of here?
I was thinking there was one other. I thought he was joking, but Dumb Cookie said broken sea. I can't get broken sea to open, or open sea to open. Is it just me?
It stopped for me. Yeah, it just went out, actually. OpenSea down.
Maybe they're in the process of updating their voyages for the day.
You're gonna have to do some token swaps and buy some more Larva Labs, lads, from the base copy pasta collection to get your points, man.
Otis in the chat said SK whale got drained. Do you know what that's referring to? I don't know if that's a human or is SK a collection or something.
I don't know. It's my initials, and I did not get drained, so feeling good so far. But no, didn't see that.
Florsheim says, pretty happy about my Clutch Puppy when Simple Farm was hosting before they rocketed up. I think what you're trying to say, Cap, is the bar has been raised. Time to elevate projects, deliverables with it. Yeah, I do. I think that, and I don't want this to be taken the wrong way, because I enjoy PFPs. I enjoy PFP collections. I enjoy PFP communities. I'm really thinking how I can say this without offending people. Like, we're good. We got enough PFP communities here, and I don't think a PFP community, I don't think art is bringing anyone else into this space. Like, you may get someone to move or to add a community to their existing, but I think what onboards the next wave of NFT enjoyers is not going to be a PFP. Now, there could be a PFP associated with what excites them, absolutely. And I think that that's kind of like, I liken it to like the jersey example. As people start enjoying like they start rooting for a sports team, they'll start rocking their jersey. Someone starts enjoying a prediction market parlay platform, and they may start rocking their PFP. I don't think the PFP we're at a point where if you're dropping an NFT collection, a PFP NFT collection, and it's just art and vibes, good luck. Like, I'd say it better be really good art. I don't think it matters. Like, it does, but it's,
or you need influence. It needs to be like, by the way, I said Dua Lipa instead of Dua Lipa earlier, which is hilarious, getting called out on that one. Dua Lipa, and by the way, I don't even really fully know what a Dua Lipa is. I know a couple. I think she has that Levitate song. It's pretty good. 5 years ago. I don't know. Probably some other good ones. I'm sure she has bangers. I think she have a bad one with Elton John? I can't remember. But I think like we're at the point where it's like, like I can see PFPs being a thing if real meaningful celebrities who actually are being honestly trying to rock them as online. And like part of the appeal of like a Bored Ape back in the day was like, yeah, man, Steph Curry rocked one unironically. Like he had that. And it was his like in his profile where like it was like NBA champion, all these other things, Olympic gold medalist, Bored Ape Yacht Club in his profile. Like people like wore them because they like them. Like even like, moderate NBA players would wear them, right? At times. It's like if it's a statement that people are excited about, like the Logan Pauls of the world, and those people like his co-host Mike was working a Bored Ape because you like Bored Apes and he was wearing it and it was cool and it was something he was into. Like when people wear them the same way that Dua Lipa like is rocking a Labubu, then like, yeah, like people might chase that collection and wear that as a trend. And guess what? Trends happen. Like, will they always have value? Are they programmable software? They have utility? Yes. They can have all those things. Or it can be like, I mean, if anybody thinks Labubus are going to have the same craze in 5 years from now as they do now, like, I'd be surprised. Like, that's just how fashion trends work. So, yeah, I could see PFPs as a fashion trend, but I think you're right. I think it's going to matter where if people want to make their Facebook profile a Disney Castle, standing for Disney Castle, they would probably rock a Disney PFP. Like, those can exist. Like, sports teams could release PFPs with utility, and people who are fans of those teams would rock them and wear them, and it would be a way for them to signal their fandom in the chat.
But I don't think they're going to do it just for a PFP, is my point. Like,
I think they could. I think sports, you don't think they would. I think sports they might. People have their favorite players as their sports team. So if they were like, this is the official, you are a fan.
Yeah, but I just, if I'm a sports team, I'd say cool, but do something else with it. It's not that high of a bar, right? Like, give some sort of utility, give some sort of discount. Like, that's my point. Be better. Someone said it. I apologize. It's not, I don't know why I'm having so much trouble finding things in the chat today or on the internet, but someone said it's like, we leveled up. Yeah, we like, and again, please, like, I'm trying to choose my words carefully here because I really mean no offense by this. It's not directed at anyone. It's just, if you're launching a PFP NFT collection in 2025, I think you would be wise to have something with it, not just the PFP itself. And to your point on like a sports team, yeah, like even if it's something as simple, anyone who holds this PFP, you get a free hot dog, you get 10% off games, you get, it's just like you get access to a voice chat with a player once a month. Like, Is that going to drive the NFT to hundreds of thousands of dollars? No. But it allows you to identify your hardcore fans, your true fans. It allows you to engage with those true fans more. Your true fans are going to become even bigger fans, and it turns them in from a fan, most likely, into a brand ambassador. Like, it's just like someone earlier was saying, well, if NFTs didn't work for Starbucks, how is it going to work for any of these other companies? And I said I would argue that it did work for Starbucks. Odyssey was a great program, and it worked. It just was a collateral damage or a casualty of a CEO change. That happens in big businesses, and so it can work for these big businesses. I just think what it can do is actually more beneficial to, like, who the sports team I would love to see launch a PFP collection, Steve, and actually do some stuff with it.
Who?
The Savannah Bananas. How they're going about fandom, like, there's a crossover here, right? Like, I had to put more thought, like, what exactly they should do in terms of utility. But if you're not familiar with the Savannah Bananas, it's like the Harlem Globetrotters of baseball, except they're way bigger than I think the Harlem Globetrotters ever got in terms of like attendance and stuff. They sell out huge football stadiums. They get 80, 90,000 people attend a baseball game. They're like drinks and concessions are included in the ticket price. And like, they're really leaning into the fans. And I believe NFTs enable brands to do a better job of leaning in and supporting and engaging your fans. And yeah, long-winded rant, but I think that sort of stuff is very much so. Not only can it happen, I think it will happen. It's just going to look very different.
It's going to be like because like to be like a Cleveland Browns fan, for example. Which, again, Cleveland Browns are bad, but you want to get expensive tickets or sweet tickets or whatever, you're out of luck, right? But imagine if they launched like the Dog Pound, or the dog, whatever they call their Dog Pound fandom group. And that fandom group gets like entered into raffles for game-worn jersey, things that cost them nothing outside of like Myles Garrett signing a jersey. And like one, raffles to suites, raffles to be on the field, opportunities to buy exclusive merchandise. Once a year, they send you like season ticket holders for the Browns get like a package every year. Like, you could get a package every year if you own one of these things. And like, it could be a renewal, just like season tickets, but on a lower level, and like get you access to buy certain things, get you for early access to playoff tickets, like certain things like that. Like, you could build something out and it would help you identify those fans. You could have them connect all sorts of accounts. You could learn a lot about them. Like, there's a lot of data you can get about your fans and probably turn it into a higher profitable center, get more info, like true InfoFi that way. Like, you insert, that's where the InfoFi goes. I use the New York Yankees example in my article that's pinned to my profile. Like, if Yankees fans could figure out who's tweeting about games, who's going to games, who's buying merchandise, like, you would give people a reason to own something that logs them in when they buy something, because they're like, well, shoot, I get 5% off merchandise or 10% off merchandise by owning this thing. It pays for itself. You get the answer back. And on top of that, you get their social accounts connected across things, and you're pulling in that data. You have, you're giving them, and then on top of that, they are flexing your brand, because if you give them a really cool PFP, they're going to wear it on social profiles, and people are going to be like, hey, what's that? So I think there's opportunities. I agree. That's where it looks very different.
Kind of buried the lead talking about sports and fandom without giving credit to two that are doing a lot of this right now as we speak in the F1 world. We hit on it earlier of this at the opening of the show, but Dunk Cooking, the team over there working with the F1 squad on Abstract, had another successful weekend. You've got the F1 posters on Ape Chain, and there was a question, like, I wonder, Jambert asked, I wonder how many F1 fans has picked up the Red Bull and Ape Chain drops. How many of those have been onboarded? How many have stayed? This is what I don't know yet, Steve. And this is maybe something we can save the deeper conversation for another time. But I hope both of them do more than just the collectible poster. Like, it's cool, but I think, like, okay, now what? And maybe it's not now, like next year, now what? Like, how can you make me care about, how does collecting this poster unlock other fan opportunities for me, right? And I know you don't have to over utility everything, but I think this is a good example of it's working, how it's going to be done, free or very low cost mint on an L2. what I haven't fully connected the dots, Steve, is how do you go from an F1 fan collects a poster? Maybe they love it so much. An F1 fan, I collected a poster. They collected the Alpine poster on ApeChain, and they collected the Red Bull poster on Abstract. Now what? How do we get that fan to go from I have this digital collectible, this thing I really love, to next step? Like I guess in theory, they collected it, they've been onboarded, but how do you get them from the ramp to actually in the ecosystem? And I don't even know what that means, but like I use our journey. Like we got onboarded by collecting a digital basketball moment that was similar to something we were very familiar with. And then we all went different paths from there, and it wasn't forced, right? It just like, as I was saying this out loud, was it simply just number go up? It was like, oh, I put a couple $100 in Top Shot. Now my account value is worth 5 figures. I should probably explore this NFT thing a little bit more. Is that like, can you get them from the ramp to actually in the ecosystem without number going up? I collected a free digital collectible. It's still free. There's no demand for this. Where do those users, those fans, how do we keep them and get them more active on chain?
Well, and to your point, like that's the part that's interesting to me is figuring out, like, there's a million things you could do once you have that digital wallet connected. So what do you do with it if you're F1? Is it more collectibles? Is it more data? Is it more account connects? Is it more information that you can get? Is it more opportunities you can give them? Like, there's so many things you can do. So, yeah, I think a lot of stuff there. And like you said, good evergreen topic for another day too, as far as like digging deep on like what this can look like.
Also, that SK that it was Supreme Kongs. Like my brain's just slow this morning apparently, but yeah, appreciate the update there. So yeah, apparently a Supreme Kong's whale got hacked, and that's what led to that volume. So
got it. Yeah, I'm also like on very little sleep. My nose is red and sniffly, and am hoping to get my life together today. But that said, let's let everyone sail off on their day. Solid show. Glad to be back. Excited to be back in the saddle and kind of be talking about the market again. Hopefully OpenSea is fixed. I don't know if they've tweeted about being down or anything like that, but we'll pay attention. Looks like they are back up, and still no rewards showing up in that reward activity. So maybe slowing down a little bit on that, which I agree is good. I think they probably came out a little hot and heavy unless their airdrop's coming like next month. So let everyone stay off in their day. Appreciate everybody who came through this morning. We'll talk to everybody bright and early tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Eastern time. Have a wonderful day, everybody.
Thanks for tuning into Coffee with Captain, powered by ApeCoin. We hope you enjoyed the show, and remember, nothing we discussed today is financial advice. Until next time, keep exploring, stay curious, and we'll see you soon. Have a great day.
Welcome to the future.